it is week 4 upon us. Oh my God, Danny, we're on episode 26. Is that for real? Is that a real thing there? Oh
We are there.
my gosh, what? That is crazy. Episode 26, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Sun City Leatherheads podcast. I'm JD Cercelli. That's Danny Ramirez. Danny, how are we doing?
What's up, Jay? Life's good. I mean, I'm alive. I'm breathing. Family's good.
Right.
But I don't know. There's just a void in my heart right now. Right.
Food. I'm right there with you. The boys and the Bears, right? They're both what 1-2 on their lifeline, basically. Because I mean, the next few games, I mean, it could go downhill really quick. So I mean, they're treading on troubled waters, that's for sure. And
Yep.
it's like they're on a raft going downstream, and a waterfall's coming, and they're just trying to figure out if they even have a damn paddle. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. It's not fun times at all. It's been a little frustrating. I think for you and I, right? Just watching our teams, right? We expected big things, and to see them struggle the way they are, I guess, is like the Bears struggling on offense, can't figure out their identity. The Cowboys not having a really good defense anymore in terms of stopping the run. So I don't know. It's just a lot of
So Danny, this is what we're doing, right? All right, we're gonna take the Cowboys offense and then your Bears defense that can actually stop something, and then we'll just put them together, make our own team, and then we'll actually, we'll be all right.
let's do it.
Dude, I mean, Brandon Aubrey is scoring more points than half the freaking offenses in the league. So I'm like, this dude, that is,
I'll take
if you
Aubrey.
would, it's karma, right? I used to mess with you, like, man, we signed Robbie Gold, and I was like, well, I would sign my best player too. Like, he's the one who scored an offense. Well, guess what? We're at that time right now, and the Dallas Cowboys not the one person that scored the most points in the first 3 weeks. Who is it? Brandon Aubrey, the best kicker in the damn league. I mean, Dallas. It's so weird. Dallas can go get the hidden special player talents in the other brand leagues like UFL and all that stuff. They got Turpin, now they got Brandon Aubrey, but then like the NFL guys in free agency, they're like, and then like they just bomb on that. But it's so weird. Like they might as well just draft and go get free agency from the other leagues at this point, and just like built the team that way because they know how to pick those guys. But it's just so bizarre to me. But yeah, it's oh man, I've next week we're gonna do our tweets to see what should
Mean
show the
tweets.
mean tweets, and we'll show the people. I mean, watcher beware, not safe for work. I guess that's the little slogan, because I assure you I hold nothing back on Twitter from my mind, because it is frustrating, and it shouldn't be that way, especially as so-called Dallas's talented team, right? This is like the past 4 years, because this is the fourth year. It's like, oh man, they got the team. Maybe this is the time that they, Super Bowl or bust, NFC Championship. Like every year, you're the Dallas Cowboys. You have expectations, but the last 4 years, it's been the hype train after hype train and the hype train. And where does that train go, Danny? Oh, that's right. It didn't even get the engine started. Doesn't go. It just like and it just stutters, and it just it's slowly coming. I guess I don't know. That hype train is not hyped at whatsoever. But
No, it derails for
it
sure. But
it just stops.
it just sucks, and it seems like every year well, at least I'm talking for the Bears here. Like we're in this position where we're hyped up about our team, we're hyped up about the players, we're expecting big things, and then like the coaches is what they're the ones that are letting us down with their play calling. Like I don't know if you saw some of the Bears highlights, but that fourth and goal play where they were at the 1 yard line, and then they decided to do like a running back, like a run option. And I mean, we're not in college. That doesn't work in the NFL. You know what I mean? Especially, why would you want to do it out of the shotgun when you're already on the 1 yard? Just pound the rock.
That's the one. That's one of the biggest things I have is like, why are we in shotgun if we have 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 when you're supposed to get that ground? And oh, Danny, this is one of my. If I was a GM right now, if like John Mara actually accepted my let's talk, let's say, what would you do? The first thing I would tell him, I would sit down all the coaches that are aligned to be hired. Like, I'm going to ask them a scenario. You have all 3 timeouts late in the fourth quarter. Maybe it's like 3 minutes and 52 seconds. You're on the 23. It is 4th and 2. You're down 9. What do you do? And if all but one tell me that they're going to kick the field goal, or they're going to go for it instead of kicking the points and then trying to get it after, and then have a better chance to like just get the points again, I'm shaking everyone's hand and saying, I'm sorry, you're not the coach for me. The guy who said he was kicking the damn field goal, you're the coach for me because you're not leaving points off the fucking board. Because so many the Falcons should be 2-1. They failed down that because they didn't do that scenario. Fourth
Yeah.
down, you should have kicked the field goal. You get the ball back because you stop Mahomes, drive it down, kick the field goal, and you win the fucking game, and you don't lose by 5. Same thing
Yeah.
with so many teams. The last 2 weeks is so frustrating. I like my damn Cowboys are pretty much getting blown out the water before the first half. So I'm like, dude, why are we kicking field goals at this point? But when you're in the nitty gritty and it's tough to get those points and you're only down by 5, 4, 6 points, why the hell are you not kicking the field goal in the side of the 20? It makes no
Be-
sense to me.
it's because of the analytics, Jay. Come on.
Analytics, a stupid computer that doesn't have a brain, that's never played the game, that's never coached the game, that's never studied the game analytically by design because they were born into it. No, they're just like, well, I mean, it's short yardage. I mean, why not? Because you don't have a guy punching you in the fucking jaw. You don't have
Yeah.
anybody like you don't have the heart and the grit of a team on defense telling you not to do it. But it
I share your sentiment there. I think that it ends up killing a lot of teams in the end. Like the Bears are one of them. The Bears could have won last week's game by a point if they just would have kicked those field goals instead of trying to go for them in fourth and goal or whatever, right? So I don't understand why all of a sudden teams are just going for it on fourth down when they're on the opposite side, right? On their opponent's side of the field.
right.
But to me, like it's a risky game because you just don't know if you will end up winning by 1 point, end up losing by 1 point, or just come in and bite you in the butt, and that would be the outcome of the game.
And another point proven, Danny. We're in the day and age of the best fucking field goal kickers in the world, and we're still
Yeah.
going for it and not kicking the points. Brandon Aubrey can kick it over probably 70 yards. Tucker has the record at 66. You got Koo, which I just mentioned in Atlanta, who can kick it at least 60 himself. Like, what are you doing? We have like the best field goal kickers we've ever had. Even in college now, this kid from Trujillo, I forgot where he was. Was it Tornado? I don't know, but he kicked a 60-yarder in college. So these guys are getting breaded to do this now, and yet we're still failing them and failing our team because we want to be stupid.
Yeah. We're getting greedy with the points.
We're in the day and age, yeah, because they want to do the whole protect Mahomes. We want to score. We want to the viewers want to see 60 points. No, we want you guys to throw the damn flag on Kansas City because that's the right call. And 2, no, if it's fair, I want to see a field goal kicker do it 70 yards just to see if he can break the record. How exciting would that be? But it's
I'm with you.
Oof, I'm so salty on those 4th and 1. Like Atlanta lost because of that this week. New Orleans lost it like that again this week because of that. Like there's so many teams that are losing on not going for it or just kicking the field goal instead of going for it maybe later when it's in dire need. And dire need means like there's no going back. This, you have a chance to get the points and then still come back. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, there's not much more to say. I think you and I feel the same about this topic. And it just blows my mind that these teams are giving up 3 points just to get either, a touchdown, to get a first down on the opponent's side of the field. I don't know. They just need to take what they can get, right? They always say, take what the defense gives you.
Right.
And at that point,
and if it's
take
4th
what the
down,
offense
that's what
gives you.
that's what they gave you. So let's kick the points. You know what? Tom Brady's going to finally not call a Cowboys game. Maybe he's just bad luck. Maybe. I don't know. Because we're on Thursday night tomorrow. But even when Brandon Aubrey kicked that 65-yarder this past week, did you hear Tom Brady, the GOAT, the greatest of all time from the National Football League? Did you hear the excitement he had that a field goal kicker made it 65 yards? It was so like mind-boggling because when he came in, Adam Vinatieri was a GOAT himself. He gave Brady his first 3 Super Bowls because of all his field goal kicking and the defense. But I'm like, he even said, man, when I came in the league and back then, just as imagining a kicker trying to do 52 yards was like, hey, Tom, we need at least 4 or 5 more yards so he can actually try to kick it, or else we're gonna punt. He's like, now these guys do it past 60. He's like, that is so crazy to me. Tom Brady, who's an analyst's dream of as the GOAT, he's even excited to watch these field goals now. And I'm like, and we're still go for it and not taking the points. Like, it makes no sense to me. Rex
Well, at
Ryan, man,
least
I love him. He was like, you know what? And eat your crow, Jerry Jones, because Harbaugh, who wanted to go to Dallas, actually has a winning record right now in Los Angeles. Rex Ryan, who wanted to be a Dallas Cowboys coach, is just laughing and mocking you guys because you guys are getting your ass beat at home with no discipline, no defense, nothing. And you got that. You don't want a raw coach because why? He'll be the headline instead of you, Jerry Jones. That's your problem.
yep. Or he's just scared of the possible
Being
tension that
wrong.
will.
No, he's afraid of being wrong. That's the whole thing. It's like, well, if I actually do something about it and actually get a real GM or actually get a raw coach, and then he brings this team discipline, then I've been wrong for 30 years, and I don't want to do that.
I was just gonna say, it seems like Tom Brady's learning though, because week
Oh,
one,
I loved him. Like week one, and then people were bashing him. I went on Instagram, on one of the sports posts, and I was like, dude, it's rookie jitters. Like he's never done this. Like let him do a real game. He'll get used to it. But man, the Ravens game, I loved his energy, his comebacks with Burkhardt. Like it was boom, 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 and
yeah,
it was like a ping pong match, which was awesome.
he's doing better for sure. You could tell right away. And I even when I turned on the game because I was watching the Cardinals play the who are they playing? The Lions.
Right.
And I turned it over to the Ravens Cowboys game, and I thought at first it was Greg Olson because just of the
Because the
way that
way
he's
the
kind of
way he was coming back, right.
yeah, exactly. And so when I realized, oh, it's actually Tom Brady, and I thought to myself, he's been learning because that was his that was one of the criticisms that he got week one was that he didn't show too much emotion, too much excitement, especially when Aubrey was lining up for that, what was it, 71-yard field goal? Like he was just kind of like whatever about it.
He's like, wait, he's gonna
And
kick it? Yeah, he wasn't. Well, even when he made the 60 whatever in that game, and then he got penalized. That's why it was gonna be 71 yards. But he was
oh,
just kind.
true.
But I know what you mean. Like it just, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It is. It is. But we got some NFL news that we want to go through, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, obviously it's week 4 coming, so not a lot of trades or whatever. Not a lot of desperation yet, which some teams actually should be right now, aka Dallas Cowboys.
We'll be
But
there in 2 weeks.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Right?
we'll wait until all the great players are gone, and then we'll go sign an undrafted UFL player. Adam Thielen suffered an injury, expected to miss some time on injury. I mean, finally the Panthers get some traction, right? Andy Dalton comes in,
Yeah.
has 3 touchdowns, lights it up. The red rifle looked locked and loaded, and then one of your best receivers gets hurt, and just it just sucks. Once Carolina thinks that they maybe have something going on, so
No,
um,
they look like a total different offense
right,
with Andy Dalton. Like he just had a great command of the offense. The receivers looked better. I mean, Deontay Johnson popped off. The running backs were a little bit running the ball a little bit better. So it just was probably a good change of scenery, right, for the offense to have a new quarterback behind center.
right.
But what was surprising for me to hear on Sunday was that they were saying that Bryce Young might start again this year. And you and I were talking about his time being over in Carolina. So who knows if that's true or not? But hey, if Andy Dalton continues to play this way, I don't think
Why?
they'll give Bryce Young a chance.
Yeah, why would you? And like, how many times have we talked, even years before this podcast, that I would never ever draft an Alabama quarterback number 1? Why? Because they are too spoiled in that conference. They have Nick Saban, the best defense all the time, and like they're just, college is different. Tua, that poor guy, is always injured, but he keeps taking the hits. Jalen Hurts, I mean, he's a turnover machine, so it's just awesome for as a Cowboys fan to watch him, because it doesn't seem like he's gonna. I mean, at this point, you should progress to not do those turnovers instead of degress and still do them. You know what I mean? This is what, year 5 for him, year 6.
Yeah,
Of course, AJ McCarron. I mean, that dude's in like the UFL now. Like he's not even in the NFL unless he's
for
a
the
backup.
Battlehawks,
Yeah. So
right?
like, yeah. And then of course Mac Jones is a backup in Jacksonville, which at this point, who knows? Just
He
give
might
him the
start.
give him the keys because Jacksonville can't get any worse. But yeah, so it just maybe going forward without having Nick Saban as head coach, and you're not so spoiled with like all the great recruits going there, the greatest recruits going there, then maybe the quarterbacks will develop and be better, right? But like right
Hmm.
now, it's proving to show like Bryce Young is the latest one. Like he runs around too much. You know, he's reckless with the ball. That's just not college ball. Like you can't do that.
Yeah, no, you're right. Alabama has always been like a defensive back producing school, running back producing school, even
Right.
defensive linemen. Like
Yeah.
they produce those players consistently.
So the
But
quarterback doesn't
quarterbacks,
have has no stress. So I mean,
yeah,
yeah, it's pretty crazy. All right, what else, Danny? Let's see. So I told you before so one of the Broncos guys, what's his name? Where's the post?
Alex Singleton, right?
Yes, I think that's what I told you. Well, he gets injured and he's going to the injury reserve. Like I guess he's done for the year. Like it's not the 4 game one. Like it's done for the year. So they also signed K1 Alexander, the free agent Steelers linebacker, to probably take his place, obviously, and help the team. And they needed a spot. And then CJ Henderson, the Steelers pick him, and he was a 2020 Jacksonville Jaguar first round pick. So apparently
Wow.
it's pretty wild that he's still bouncing around as being a 2020 first round pick, but Steelers signed him, which is crazy. They're just adding riches to rich, right? Because they're doing pretty good. So the Steelers are 3-0, man. That's crazy. But
Yeah,
man, we were talking about that early on, right? In the free agency
yeah.
and draft. I was like, Danny, man, this team, even if like their quarterbacks don't come 100%, like their defense and everything else is going to be clicking. And sure enough, like it's not like you said, give what the defense gives you, right? And that's what Fields is doing right now. Is just not making too many crazy things, and not trying to make too many things create too crazy things happen, and then it's leading to victories. So good for him.
It's just being smart. He's being smart with the football. He's not creating turnovers. He's kind of just managing the game, and when he needs to make a play, he'll make the play. And that's
Right.
what you want. I mean, depend on that defense to kind of keep the game in place for you, and then when you need to take advantage of a short field because they produce turnovers, or if you just need to get a stop, like it's a complete football team, and that's what they've been missing for what 2 or 3 years.
Right. But yeah. Anything
We
else for
also
you, sir?
well, you mentioned Derwin James earlier, right? Being
Right.
suspended.
Yeah, for 1 game. He's always on that like, hey man, the targeting, calm down with that. Like you're hitting people. So he has a tendency to hit people in the jaw and the head. So it's obviously the league was kind of pissed because it's I guess early on, or maybe he had been doing it the whole time this early season. So yeah, he gets a 1 game suspension, and you don't want that because why you're starting quarterback, you're like saving grace, the guy that's head hunter of the a whole team that goes out and plays. He's banged up, so you want all hands on deck on the other side, right? Just in case you can't score as many points. So like him getting knocked out for a 1 game suspension hurts the team for sure. And I think they
Yeah,
play a division game this week too, if I'm not mistaken. They
yeah.
play
That's the
Kansas
they.
City, right?
Yep, they play KC at home. But yeah, it's gonna be a tough blow for them. And then I know Bosa was not playing last week because he was hurt. So
Yeah,
if
he's
they're
questionable
without,
again.
I mean, if they're gonna be without their two top defensive players, I think that's gonna not be easy to stop the Chiefs for sure.
Right. And if like going back to like Bosa and Khalil Mack's case, right? If Bosa's not there, what do? You run on the side that he would have been there. And if Mack's not there, what do?
Exactly,
You run to the side that he was if he was there. So it hurts the defense for sure.
definitely does. And then
Austin Eckler
what
goes to concussion protocol.
he did he get hurt on Monday Night Football? I didn't even see that.
I guess so. I mean, he got that touchdown, but yeah, I guess he didn't come later on the game, so maybe. But yeah, he's in concussion protocol. But man, those Commanders though, like Dan Quinn's got those boys really, and Jaden Daniels, man, on pace to be rookie of the year for sure offensively. So we'll see. What's up, Gabe? Welcome to the show. We were just bashing them dickheads and the boys and the Bears. So, but yeah, we're doing breaking news, Gabe, and then Danny, let's I mean, you got anything
Well,
else?
yeah. Brett Favre came
Oh,
out to say that
yes.
he has early stages of Parkinson's disease, which it sucks because even though I'm sure Gabe and I, we're not the biggest fan of Brett Favre, it
For
sucks
sure.
to know that he's dealing with that kind of illness, right? Especially after his playing career. Um, and the thing that I saw that he said was that he attributes this Parkinson's diagnosis as, because of football, all the concussions that he took in the NFL. And, you and I were talking about concussions, what was it, last week or the week before, about how detrimental it is to, a player after their playing career, right?
Right. Keep your health.
Mm-hmm. And so to have this news kind of surface, it sucks. It sucks to hear that. And so we hope that, things go well in his, it's not really a recovery, but his ongoing life with this disease. You don't wish that on nobody. And then the last thing I have here is Yannick Ngakwe. We were talking about it offline. He actually got signed to the Ravens practice squad, who I'm sure is going to be elevated to their 53-man roster pretty soon. But
Right.
I'm going to be interested to see how much they're paying that guy because he kind of held out the whole offseason waiting for a team to pay him his, what the money he was demanding. So hopefully it's less than that. But you're talking about the rich getting richer. I think the
Danny,
Ravens are starting to find themselves, and having Yannick Ngakwe is gonna really help that defense.
let me ask you, what position does he play?
Defensive end,
Okay, cool. What does Dallas need right now to even try to stop a run?
some outside linebackers, right?
Right. And what team did he want to go play for before all this debacle and now signing with the Ravens? Oh,
I
that's
think he
right.
I think he wanted to go with the Bears, but he chose the Cowboys as a secondary option. I don't know.
Either way, I am sick of the GM in Dallas, and my God, he needs to be fired and disappear. But all right, so that's breaking news. Gabe, chime in if you have anything or you want to say anything. How was Seattle?
You want to voice your frustrations about the Bears offense,
Do
offensive
anything,
coordinator,
sir. This is what we're here for.
offensive line.
Woo, Danny, give me the new headline. What's going on? What's good?
All right. So in this next segment, we're going to talk about who left a lasting impression
So
in their
good or
production.
bad?
Good. We'll
Good.
talk about bad next. Yeah.
All right, good. Well, we're already bashing your team. Well, let's look at the opposite corner and see the good, right? Jaden Daniels, the guy who was drafted after your guy, Caleb Williams. I'm not saying anything bad about Caleb. He's, they're both going to start learning. Caleb just needs to learn to not take so many damn hits behind the what is it the offensive line. What do they call it? The
Line of scrimmage.
line of scrimmage. Yes, that's his issue right now is that he scrambles and he's taking hits while he's throwing. And Jaden Daniels, for the most part, he's getting hit too, but he's taking off quick and then getting hit downfield. So he's making first downs, touchdowns, throwing. Like, I mean, this kid has looked pretty clean so far. And what was so cool, his first NFL touchdown was not to a receiver, was not to a tight end, was to a offensive lineman who was eligible to go and score. And of course, I don't the Bengals decided not to take the guy because they're like, well, this big boy can't catch. Well, Scott was like, boop, I forget his first name, but Scott was like, woohoo, and did some little goofy, big boy dance. But what I loved most about Jane Daniels is a little interview later with what's her name on NBC, but anyway, or Monday Night Football. I'm sorry, Josina Anderson. I think it's Josina Anderson, but she interviews him, and then she's talking about his first touchdown and who's going to get the game ball because obviously Scott's the offensive lineman who's not going to get a lot of touchdowns thrown at him, so he's going to get the game ball. And clever enough, his street smart was like, oh man, like for sure me. It wasn't like, it wasn't like all about him, whatever. His response was, wow, it's gonna be cool trivia later down the road if you ask someone who was my first touchdown thrown to. And I was like, this kid freaking gets the schematics of life, which will in turn put it into the game because he's thinking about the future instead of like me, how great I am, how awesome it is to score my first touchdown. He was like, man, it's going to be cool to do a little trivia question for someone later down the road because are they going to get it? And it's like, bro, hats off to you because you're not even looking to what you did. You're looking to what can become. And I like that. So I think this kid, the last impression is like the damn Commanders look better than my damn Cowboys. That's one of my lasting impressions. Like how sad it is. If you would have told me a few months ago, even to you, Danny, would you believe that the Commanders would be 2-1 and Dallas would be 2-1-2?
Nope.
Exactly. Like
I mean,
it's so
I knew the Commanders had the opportunity to become a surprising team in the NFL this year.
right,
You know, you and I have both been like a huge fan of all their pickups, their additions, their
right.
draft selections. Like they've done a great job, and so for them to have success, I think they did. I mean,
They
it's
deserve
great
it.
for them. Yeah, it's great for them because they're getting it sooner than we expected.
Man, I wish Uncle
Uh,
G was here, man. He would. Oh
he
man,
would.
I could just hear him
He's
like
watching.
blowing. I could hear him blowing my phone right now, like come Redskins, Commanders, like just like he would probably be blowing up my crap for sure. But oh
He's
man,
watching.
but yeah, it's
He's watching. But
good for the
I w-
Commanders.
I was gonna give you a counter argument to all the because the media is going crazy. Like after Monday Night Football, like yesterday, right? We saw all these media outlets saying, "Oh, the Bears made the wrong pick. The Bears made the
Oh,
wrong pick. They picked
that's
the wrong
dumb.
quarterback." And it's so stupid to actually go there week 3. Like why would you why would that be the narrative? Like that shouldn't be the narrative. You
Right.
can't compare their situations because they're different, right? Washington did things right. They improved the offensive line. Maybe they don't have the same playmakers around Jaden Daniels, but with what he's got, he has the time to develop and throw it and find people and make plays that way. Caleb doesn't have that opportunity in Chicago. He says hike and he's already being rushed,
Yeah,
right? Or he's going to be sacked. So his process of learning and developing is going to be much different. It's going to come. He's essentially just, when you were little and your family members would push you into the deep end of the pool and you sink or swim, right? That's
yeah,
exactly
like
what Caleb's going through right now. And for them to compare Jaden Daniels' success and then, on the other end, point at Caleb Williams' failures, like that's not fair.
I
Because
don't.
from, and I know that you're not probably watching the Bears games like as we do, right? As us watching the whole game, it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see, but you see the talent that Caleb Williams has. He's able to find those receivers like and drop those balls in places that we've never ever seen a quarterback in Chicago do. And for them to pinpoint because Jaden Daniels had almost 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and then say that Caleb Williams had a horrible game because he only got 2 touchdowns and he had 2 interceptions, but he did pass for 363. And then they say, oh, it was garbage time yardage. Like no, he still had to make those tough throws, in the middle of the field. And if you look at the passing chart, right? If you compare Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams' passing chart, even Justin Fields' passing chart, Justin Fields, it has a lot of completions that are 5 to 10 yards, right? Those are completions. So he's dinking and dunking. Jaden Daniels, same thing, right? He does have that long touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin,
Right.
but for the most part, the majority of his passes are 5 to 10 yards. And then you see Caleb Williams, and his is just kind of sprinkled all over the place, right? Because he doesn't have the ability to kind of dink and dunk, right? His offensive coordinator is calling shitty ass plays where he's rolling out, being sacked. Like you can't compare those 3 quarterbacks at all, and it's unfair. And I hope, for the narrative next week, I hope that Caleb Williams continues to have a good game. He gets better. I'm hoping that Jaden Daniels continues because I want them to know that them comparing Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, or whoever is just not fair.
What's sad, Danny, is that they're both going to be connected forever. And let's
Yeah.
say that, like you said, it's unfair. Like I love Caleb. I think he's got above the ceiling is the potential, right? So you gotta, like you said, no offensive line help compared to what Jaden has. Like just the schematics of the game right now, it's beneficial to Jaden because he has an easier road because of his coach, because of coaching, because of offensive line, because of different things, right? And going back, you brought up Justin Fields, and that's I was going to bring that up to you during this live. Maybe it was coaching this whole time because
Yep.
you look at Fields now, who's 3-0 as a starter in Pittsburgh. Does he have the flashiest of stats? No. He's just not doing stuff that's going to hurt the team lose. And what happened with Fields last year to 2 years ago, 3 years ago, everyone's like, oh my God, what's he doing? But maybe the coaches didn't help him either. Like you said, he was always running because there's no offensive line. And now Eberflus has to at least be equal, I think, in my mind. Like, was it 9-8 now, right? Because they can't go 8-8 now, so it's like 9-8, or at least 8-9. Because if he goes below this with all this talent and whatever that they supposedly surrounded him with Caleb and the offensive wide receivers and blah blah blah, then it goes back to coaching, and it's like, dude, maybe it wasn't all Justin Fields. Maybe it was the damn head coach that just didn't have a damn clue. Because you look at other coaches, right? Look at Sam Darnold. He went and had a great experience in San Francisco, sat back, watched Purdy and Shanahan do their thing, and he's like, all right, cool. So then you go to another offensive minded coach in Minnesota, which is it's a quarterback's heaven type of offense where it's easier. You try, it's let's get that ball out quick. Let's not get you hit. And what does Darnold do right now? Oh, he's just, an MVP candidate, which is crazy because if you would have said 7 months ago when Darnold went to Minnesota in free agency that he would be an MVP candidate, we would have been like, hell no.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he is, because of coaching is helping the schematics of the character and the player. And apparently Chicago, maybe they're still not doing it because we're all of us were just like, man, Fields, and then man, Caleb throws a pretty ball. But now you're looking at the record, you're looking at the schematics, it's the same result.
It's the same cycle. Yep. And it is
Same
coaching. It's
cycle.
coaching. It's coaching. It's the offensive line not being improved.
Up to
And
par.
so they're expecting all these big things, but they're not putting the foundation in place for any quarterback to succeed.
Right.
And now, what does Justin Fields have? Yeah, it's a good offensive line in Pittsburgh. So he's not getting rushed right off the bat. He has
Right.
time to kind of see what's going on. They could run better, so they're depending on the run as well. In Chicago, we try to run, we can't even get 1 yard.
Yeah,
So
Pittsburgh's physical, and what happened? And like they push up the trenches, and yeah, I just think the coaching has definitely failed Caleb so far. And
yeah,
with that being said, the media, everyone else, the podcasters, anybody right now is going to be like, well, Jaden's better because he's winning. Well, he's got a better coach, apparently, a better offensive line, a better schematically helping the person, the young player, develop quicker because he's not getting killed like Caleb
yeah,
is.
yeah. I just think the Bears try to get too cute on offense. They try to do a lot of crazy plays, like the one I was telling you about, the 4th and goal. Like I
I
don't know
hate
what they're thinking. They try to
the
get
fourth
too
down
cute.
stuff.
Yeah, they just need to play football.
How
Go on
many points did you
offense.
guys lose by?
Mm, I think we lost by like 5.
You kick that field goal
So
later on, you might have a chance to kick to win. So,
we had
like, what are
we
we
had an
doing?
opportunity to kick 2 field goals and we
Right,
didn't. We
exactly. Oh, but yeah, man,
all right.
The Bears and the Cowboys be making us older. They're gonna
I know.
bury us probably. All right. So I
Who's your
did
next one?
mine. Well, you didn't do yours, right? Because I did mine, and we just went
Oh,
the
okay.
whole.
I'll start talking about the Bears. I thought I did mine, so my bad.
Do another one
Mine is
then.
mine's Malik Neighbors. That dude
Woo!
just continues to show up and develop.
Right.
Like that dude, you could tell he's like the most. He's the most. I don't know, like the most athletic person on the field when he's out there on offense. And it just sucks to know that he could have been paired with Saquon Barkley, and they could have had a really a nice offense with both of those players, kind of. But it still goes back to
The
Daniel
GM
Jones just
and
being inconsistent. Yeah, and I mean, surprisingly though, who's been pretty good on the offense for them is also Duke. Uh,
Singletary,
yeah, Singletary. What's his name? First name?
Devin.
Devin. Devin
And you
Singletary.
remember you had questions, so like at least he's like, and plus, guess what, ladies and gentlemen, he's about to go up against the worst rushing defense in the world. So hats off to Singletary. He's probably licking his chops like a damn alligator looking at his foe looking water, like, oh, there's my next one. Like it's gonna be if these dudes don't
But
fix it, it's over.
but the Giants luck, they'll probably go into this game thinking they'll be able to run, and then the Dallas defense will show up and stop them.
I just think what's been great for us against them since Dak's been there. For some reason, Daniel Jones apparently, I don't know why, but he doesn't play good against Dallas. Like he'll show up against Philly, but against Dallas he's way worse for some reason. And two, they always start behind quickly from us. So then of course they have to go to the whole passing thing. And then you put
Yeah,
Diggs next to Neighbors while you have to pass, like he's gonna lick his chops at that point because Neighbors, when you're able to do play action and able to get the passing downs when you or passing plays when you want to instead of when you have to, then Diggs and those guys are just gonna like attack the ball the whole time because they know it's coming. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting tomorrow. But yeah, the Malik Neighbors, going back to your impression, this kid has been a stud. And it hats off to Daniel because you said we all know he's inconsistent.
yeah.
But what has I been saying the last year and a half, even before the podcast, with Darren Waller and now with Neighbors, right? If you have your best player on offense on the field, throw him the damn ball. And this
And
is
that
what
he
he's
is.
finally doing. Yeah, he's first in targets. Neighbors apparently has the most targets in the NFL right now. But I'm like, at least Daniel's finally getting it. Like, hell, man, if I'm gonna be struggling, I might as well just lob it up to the best player.
Well,
And
what makes Neighbors great is just that play. What is it? Yards after the catch ability, right? He's
he's
able to
juke
break
and he
those
has
tackles.
power.
Yep,
He's got both, which is awesome.
and that's rare in a wide receiver. So
And
I'm
him and
glad that.
Harrison Jr. are going to be compared, just like Caleb and Jaden are. So we'll
Yeah.
see how that goes.
So far, how would you rank them, the wide receivers, between Neighbors and Harrison?
Uh, I think I would give my tip to the cap to Neighbors. It's not by a lot, just because I want to see more. But so far, I think Neighbors is one, then Harrison, and then Rome finally got his touchdown, which was a weird thing too, because he wanted the ball. It's hard when you each have your first touchdown. Like
Yeah,
you both
uncomfortable
want,
position.
yeah, you both want the ball. So that, I mean, I get it, but at the same time it looked weird on camera, like on live camera. But yeah, I pick Neighbors a little bit just because, and plus, like, I think Kyler and Daniel are somewhat a little similar to the consistency part, where like they're up and down. So I would rather trust the guy that would stay in the pocket and get me the ball more than the guy that's going to scramble around for like 10 minutes and then throw it to wherever he wants to throw it. So that's why I choose
Uh,
Neighbors, just because he's going to be able to catch more.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I think Neighbors right now has shown a little bit more than Harrison has. But just to give you some perspective, though, in hearing like the Arizona sports radio shows here, a lot of them consider Kyler Murray a MVP caliber quarterback on their team, which was surprising for me to hear. Like I've never ever considered Kyler Murray like an MVP superstar type of quarterback, and according to them, it's like he's on the brink of reaching that. Which to me, I don't agree with that.
Woo! Well, you know what it is with Arizona though, because they're the Cardinals, right? Like they're like the Lions, they're like the Browns. Like if they just have anything that's flashy, they're gonna be like, our, oh, Jesus Christ is here! Woo! Like it's something that they never had. Like the Bears have had a Super Bowl. The Bears have had great defenses. The Bears have been to a Super Bowl. The Arizona has two in the last 20 years, but that was like what their first time ever. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
they're not used to flashy things. So Kyler's flashy. So of course they're gonna be like, dude, this is the greatest thing since whatever, you know. But it's I mean
It's
but
probably it's probably been their first developed quarterback in their franchise, right? Because mainly like all their success has come from quarterbacks that
I've
were
already been
once,
there.
yeah, were once good quarterbacks in another team. So
Warner,
for them, there's a lot
Palmer,
of excitement. Hmm.
right. Yeah, because they see the longevity, like, oh man, we can finally have a quarterback that can last 10 years. But I'm like,
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. But I mean, sometimes that's a good thing too, especially for the quarterback, right? So at least you have people that you know that believe in you. Because right
Yeah.
now, Dak knows he can hide all he wants. Dak knows no damn cowboy or a lot of people do not believe in him. So, like, you know what I mean? So that weighs. So maybe for Kyler, he gets to play a little more loose. You know, it's not like him trying to be a savior. Like even Micah's stupid podcast, or no, he did an interview where he's like, yeah, we just have too many people trying to be Superman, like trying to do the biggest, greatest play or big thing instead of just like Xing and O's and just like giving what the offense or defense gives you. And he's at this point, he's probably right because they look lost. Because if you miss one huge tackle or one big offensive passing play, like if Lamb does a fumble early, that game already tilts and starts tilting towards us from that point on because they weren't as far as ahead that time. We were coming
Hmm.
back. It was what 14-3. If we score, that's 14-10. Then we're like, okay, now let's start going and settling down. Because look what happened later on. The Baltimore Ravens are like, I don't know what they do in the fourth quarter, but they're the last several years the team that give the biggest leads blown and then they end up losing. And look what happened. Dallas was too far down back, but if they had that 10 points already to start that tilt, who knows what could have happened. But
Yeah.
it
That was that game got really interesting. I gotta say, I it caught my attention because I thought it was over once it was 28-3. I thought, oh,
I
that's it.
I left my house. Like I was like, Dad, I'm just gonna start driving to my sister's. Like I don't want to watch the rest of this. And then I went to get gas and did whatever. And then like I was like, all right, let's see what's going on the radio. And they're like, oh my god, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, wait, what? Like what the hell? What do you mean? And then, but yeah, like I said, like it's just we're too far back, not enough time. But if that
Yeah.
fumble, like if that fumble doesn't happen, if he held the ball like this, that's why he fumbled. Like if he was like right here, or like he just went down because he had a first down, and
Yeah.
then oh, dude, yeah, it's stupid.
I that's the worst thing about the NFL or football in general. The what ifs. You play the what if game. What if he just would have corralled it? What if he just would have went down, instead of fighting for those extra yards and not fumble?
Right.
Like
Well,
that's the worst thing because on Monday you're like, shit, man, we were this close to winning the freaking game.
two what if stance against Kansas City makes them 1-2.
Yeah.
If Burrow doesn't fight for the stupid yard and just takes the sack, he doesn't fumble. They don't score on defense. The offense couldn't do shit. So like that, they don't even get close to coming to win. And then last week, Atlanta kicks 2 field goals. What if you would have won the game?
That's a beautiful thing about the NFL, and then it's also like the
The tragedy when
the
it's on
bad
your
thing.
team.
Yeah,
Yeah, the what if
exactly.
it's like the Saints all game would win in, and then stupid Sirianni was doing stupid Sirianni things like
Is that
let's go.
Richard Sherman?
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. They look the same sometimes, but like he's just like going for it on every fourth down, and then they're losing. So I'm like, dude, I love this. Like if they actually kick the field goals, they don't even. There's not even a scare at the end. You know what I mean? So I'm like, this is great. So I'm like, do that against us too. Like, just keep going for it on fourth down because we'll have Brandon Aubrey and we'll just beat you with field goals. I love it. So yeah, man, the what if is the crazy like Marvel's what if, right? Like if they ever did a what if for the NFL, can you imagine like how tilting the tuck rule with Tom Brady? He doesn't get his first
Tuck
Super Bowl.
rule.
Yeah, like there's so many things like
Santonio Holmes in the end zone, tippy toeing that
oh my
touchdown.
god. Oh my, like there's so many like if they just tackle Harrison before halftime, there's no way that
Yeah,
they even get close to winning.
Cardinals fans would have one Super Bowl in their.
Right. And then they wouldn't even care about Kyler Murray.
That's
Dude, how
crazy.
wild. All right, Danny.
All right. Who's your next guy?
Well, I'm gonna do
Okay.
a pair of running backs because this is to mock Jerry Jones and to stop sucking his own hoo-ha because Derrick Henry, who I said I hope Dallas wins the Ravens game, but I hope Derrick Henry shows why we should have picked him up in free agency. He ultimately destroyed us, and he's the reason why Baltimore won. If he's not there with the yards, those touchdowns, Dallas probably never loses or even falls that far behind. But it's he beats the crap out of you, has over 50 yards, 2 touchdowns, like a bat out of hell, just kicking ass. So I
The
love
Randy
that
Moss
part.
moment.
Right. Yeah. Like you didn't pick me. Fine. Boom. Like I love that part besides my team losing because he made Jerry Jones eat his crow. And then what did Jerry do? Just like Dak, and we always talk about Dallas doesn't like to take it up the chin. They'd rather take it up from the rear because what does he say? Oh, we couldn't afford him. Hey, dickhead, if you would have paid your stars beforehand and just made sure that you adjusted contracts, you could have had Derrick Henry and probably another defensive star on the defensive line that you could have had, and we would have been way better. Another running back I'm going to bring up, Danny, because, again, another running back that Jerry Jones could have had and who would have loved to come to play for us. Why? Because he's from El Paso, Texas, Aaron Jones. He's kicking ass in Minnesota. And and it's so cool his interview. Did you see his interview? Or is that Puka?
Yeah, Puka. That's little Puka.
little Puka's running. Oh, she's loose. Get her. Oh, little hello Puka. Hello kitty. Hello Puka. But yeah, man, we could have had Aaron Jones. Another one we could have had. If you don't get Derrick Henry, go get Aaron Jones. No, we don't go get him. And what's he doing? He's kicking ass in Minnesota. And it was so cool in his interview. He was like, man, there's just something about this team. Like I talked to my mom about it. Like I've been around good teams, but it's just these guys just love each other. And I'm like, boom. Continuity will make you win every time. Kansas City right now it doesn't have continuity, and that's why they're struggling. Dallas Cowboys sure as hell don't have continuity, and that's why they're getting their ass beat. Like, he's just like, man, there's just something about these guys that they just all love each other and they just show up and want to fight for each other. I'm like, dude, that
Why? Because
sounds
there's no prima donna on the team
right. There's no
named Aaron Rodgers.
pressure. Yeah, there's no pressure. There's no blue star. Like, there's nothing. Like in Justin Jefferson, remember we're like, man, he might bail out because he may not trust this whole regroup thing. And then all of a sudden he signs this long-term extension. Apparently he trusted McConnell, right? What's his name? What's his name? McConnell.
Kevin McConnell.
Yeah, McConnell
Kevin
and the
O'Connell.
ownership. Yeah, Kevin O'Connell. Because she was like, all right, man, I'm in. Let's see what we can do. And what are they doing? They're 3-0. Like, good for them. And man, it's crazy to see that Sam Darnold light it up. But
Yeah.
what helps a quarterback do great things? A great running game. And Aaron Jones is helping that for sure.
And that's a perfect segue because one of my lasting impressions is Sam Darnold. Man, that dude, for that dude to be in the MVP race, that's just like crazy. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone or something.
Like,
and he's having success against like great defenses, right?
right.
He beat the Niners. He beat the Texans. Like, I'm sure he's probably gonna beat the Packers this week too.
I pray that that's what happens.
And the Packers, to give them their flowers too, right? They continue to win with Malik Willis, and Malik Willis is just like, and he's showing
Malik
that
Willis, like, but it goes back to
it's
coaching.
exactly. He's showing that the coaching is what is leading to all the success in Green Bay.
Right. We're talking about Caleb and his, there's so many other people that just have terrible situations when they first come in. Malik Willis goes to a new team and the coaching staff's like, all right, we're just going to make the playbook a little easier. You just run around, do what you got to do. And did you see not this past week, but 2 weeks ago, it's like, why didn't you throw the ball? It was the Tennessee game. Oh, maybe it was this week, but the center threw up on the ball because I guess, and then he just like took off running. He's like, why didn't you throw it? Like, he's like, because he threw up on the ball. But that was smart by him. It was slippery, gross probably. So it's just like, I don't want to mess this up. Let me just take off. which and it worked because he gained some yardage and there was no fumble, no interception, no negative play. And then he's like, "Yo, coach, you just threw up, so like let's just reset it." So that was smart by him. But yeah, man, Darnold looking. It's so crazy. Darnold looks like the guy that New York thought he was, and to me, it's going back to coaching, right? Like they're all defense, and they needed an Aaron Rodgers so he could like do his improvisation. Sometimes you don't have a quarterback that can do those quick snaps and whatever else that Aaron does, but you should have a schematic guy. Just go and run the offense. And what does Aaron Donald do? He's just running the offense, and now the Vikings are 3-0.
Yeah. He's playing complementary football. He's not putting it on Darnold, and he's actually using the success of the running game
Right.
as like another weapon, right? That play action. Darnold is just doing
yeah,
a great job.
and
at
he
it.
always had a great deep ball. So now he has one of the best weapons to go deep to. So he's just like
And
man.
he's doing it without Jordan Addison. I mean, Jordan Addison hopefully is coming back this week. So, man, their offense is going to be clicking. And then their defense is great. They're just a complete team. I'm just super impressed by them.
If there's a team that I'll root for because of my Uncle Bill, my late Uncle Bill and stuff, it's the Minnesota Vikings. They're always a team that no one really hates and no one really expects things, right? They're just there. Like, like, oh man, they're the Vikings. That's cool. You're a Viking fan? That's cool. But like to see them succeed and like come out of like a rocket, right? Because like no one expected this except for Minnesota. So it's awesome.
The only thing you expect from the Vikings is a missed field goal or an epic collapse in the playoffs.
Right, like he caught it. But you know what? It's crazy is people forget the Minnesota Vikings were in the playoffs 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And they just added to their formula, added to the pieces that they want, and look what it's doing. It's showing good.
Yeah, probably the most underrated thing that they did to improve their team is hiring Brian Flores as
Right.
their
He's
coordinator.
so good. And then he's so good. I love him as a defensive coordinator. Of course, head coach, he's very hard nosed, and of course, obviously the ownership in Miami was like, no, we picked Tua. But then poor Tua now, I mean, look where that's got him. So Flores is a great defensive minded coach, knows when to blitz, knows the schematics of the game. Andrew Van Ginkel is one of my defensive MVPs so far of the year. And hats off to him because imagine Vegas has betting for everything, right? So if you went to the before the league started, you're like 100 for Andrew Van Ginkel to be defensive player of the year. Imagine your reward if he actually won that, because right now he's better than Myles Garrett. He's better than Micah Parsons. Like, he's better than a whole lot of damn fools in the NFL, and he's looking real good. So it'd be dope to see some random guy with some crazy name that no one thought of except for Brian Flores from Miami. And he right now, to me, he's probably the MVP of the defensive MVP or whatever, defensive player of the year, right? That's what it's called.
And he was cheaper than all those guys.
Right.
That's the cherry on top.
Exactly. You could build around him. Like, damn.
I forgot where I heard this, but some announcer or commentator was talking about this last week. They were asked, they were talking about Van Ginkel, and then they said that he named his son Ripken Van Ginkel, and so they call him Rip Van Ginkel. Isn't that such a cool name?
Rip Van Ginkel. Rip Van Ginkel. Like, yeah, I mean, it's genius. I don't know if it steals genius, because having a pet crocodile or alligator, I don't know about that. Would you have one, Danny?
Heck no. He'll eat my kids.
Dude, I know that's so. They did a segment like you said. I guess whenever you saw it, but of course when they played again on Monday night, like they had a camera crew like pointing. I don't know if you saw it, but they had him pointing at and then they taped the mouth because they knew, like, hey man, if we're
to.
Yeah, if we're gonna go show your pet, you better tape his ass up. So I'm like, does Steele have full control? Because I saw an Instagram thing recently, like, tell me you're from Florida without telling me you're from Florida. And he's like, come here, puppy, right? And then like the guy who's filming is like looking for a dog, and sure enough, out of the damn like brownish water, I mean, this big ass alligator is like, ugh. And then he's like, "Oh, the good puppy." And then, dude, he fed him like three things of chicken. And the croc, dude, he's like, dude, he's straight up just tapping the croc like alligator on his head, like good puppy, good puppy. And he had a name too, like Spike or something, or I don't know, but he's like good puppy. And the guy, and then the alligator's like mouth open, looks like he's smiling, all fucking happy because he's like getting tapped on the head. But I'm like, what? Like, no way. But the guy records like, dude, I'm waiting for a dog, bro. And then just out of the water, come get your dinner. And he's like, good puppy, good puppy. I'm like, hell no. I'll have to send it to you and Sam's post. But yeah, dude, I'm like, what? Like like, how is that a thing? But
that's crazy. Yeah, no, that I'm glad you saw it because I had seen it in the preseason when they were kind of highlighting his pet alligator. But hey, he had a good game too, Carson Steele. Like he wasn't nothing flashy, but he was being productive.
Yeah, the running backs, man. It's the year of the field goal kickers and running backs, which I love because it's bringing back old school football. Because you know what, Danny, history repeats itself, and defenses are tired of the NFL babying the Mahomes and all them little baby. And I'm gonna hit you because I'm tired of this crap. And two, they're so much faster now they can get away with it because the bang bang, like, hey, he hit you as soon as you threw it. Because back then, 5-6 years ago, they were throwing the ball and then getting hit. Now it's like they're getting hit while they're throwing the ball. So then now, hey man, we don't want to get you killed. Let's run a little bit more. So the offensive line, all right, let's scheme some runs. So it's running back and field goal kicker by committee for sure this year.
Yeah, no, it's a nice breath of fresh air, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Totally, because I know that, we were talking about even before the season started, we talked about how undervalued running backs are. And it sucks because they're just as productive and probably as important as a wide receiver. And wide receivers are getting paid boatloads of money. Running backs are just, playing their first contract and then most likely, going to another team, which sucks.
Well, on Monday night, the Bengals and the Commanders game is what Troy Aikman and Joe Buck had. And I forgot what they were talking about, but they're talking about goal line stuff. He's like, Joe, did you do this? Or Troy, did you do this? Blah, blah, blah. I forgot exactly what it was. And Troy said, he goes, I don't think I'd be doing that, but I wouldn't know anyway because Emmitt Smith was just scoring all of our touchdowns in the red zone. So there you go. Like, how important is a good running back, right? Troy knows, like, man, when we got to the trenches, like, we knew 22, you're up, bro. Like, that's you. And he's like, he should have said, like, I wouldn't know because Emmett would score all the touchdowns in the goal line. So we never needed that. So I'm like, dude, what a heaven sent, right? Like you don't have to beat up your quarterback and then you let someone else just take all the dirty work. So, but man, I like this segment because like it just expanded all of our imaginations. But yeah, dude, that croc, I gotta send it. It's the come here, puppy. He's like, good puppy. I'm like, hell no, bro.
All right, so let's see. Let's talk about those names that frustrated us this past week.
Oh my god,
where do you want to start?
Forgettable football list. I mean, I might as well just start with my heart, right? The Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they're not disciplined. Like getting false starts continuously at home back-to-back weeks is just unacceptable. You're at home for Christ's sakes. And you can't get a zone tackle. Like you can't hit a gap to get a tackle. Like I don't understand. I get that Mike Zimmer's a schemer, right? So Dan Quinn's more of like let everybody play man and just go attack who your target is. Zimmer's a schemer. Dallas should just take a day off from practice. Like just don't even do the physical part. Like they should just sit down with the defense and show them mentally and emotionally what Zimmer wants on this play, the next play, the play after that. Because like obviously they're freaking lost because they can't hit a gap right where they're supposed to be. Like, and then people are like one of my coworkers was like, "Dude, what's Parsons doing there?" Because we were watching highlights. I was like, "Bro, the best way to take out the best weapon is to run around him." I was like, he's hitting his gap. He's going straight in. The person on the outside needs to keep keep the running back contained so he comes back inside, not goes all the way out to score the damn touchdown. But
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the whole thing. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, why are you all going straight in? Except for the outside people, what are you doing to not hold your zone, hold your gap? Because if you're on the outside, you're supposed to keep that outside containment so they go inside. And if you're inside, you got to keep your damn. I don't. It's weird that we're talking about it, and yet they're the damn players, and they can't do it. Like that's what I don't get. Like you're
Yeah, I'm with you
inside,
there.
you're
I think
inside.
about that.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Jay, go for it.
No, you're good.
I was just thinking about that, you know, earlier this week. I know you're talking about the defensive line. I was thinking it from the offensive line perspective, but
Right.
yeah, like to me, you would think that these players go in every Monday after their Sunday game, or if they play on Monday, Tuesday, the next day, right? But you would think they go into these meetings, team meetings, or position meetings, and discuss like, hey, for this play, we need to be here. You need to block this guy or that guy. And instead, it's kind of like once the play happens, they're like taking the worst angles possible. They're just not
Amnesia.
where they're supposed to be. That's frustrating as a fan. But again, we're not athletes. We don't know. But yeah, I get your sentiment
It's
there.
like the amnesia. Like what? Like didn't we just talk about it? Like, and most of these guys,
It's your
it's Jason.
pops.
Yeah, it's my dad. It's Jason Garrett all over again. Pretty much. I mean, the same result. We're okay and good in the season, and then like we're just gonna flop around. But yeah, there you go. Uh at least Jason Garrett and their teams had a little more discipline. But dude, it's so frustrating. The gaps. Like I'm like, if you're inside, you keep inside containment. If you're outside, you keep the outside containment. Like how? Like what do we like? Why are we doing the opposite? Like, oh my gosh, you forgot you mentioned something right now about about something. I was gonna like have something good to say, but yeah, dude, the last impression or the forgettable football list, like Dallas Cowboys just need to like what are you doing? It's so sickening.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. But from the offensive side perspective, like to me, especially the offensive line, when
Oh, I
let's
knew what I
say,
was gonna say.
okay, go for it. I
Uh,
don't want to make you forget your thought. Go for it.
Most of these guys, Danny, have been playing since little league. Little league. And it's just like, where do we forget the discipline part? Like I don't understand.
But probably the most head scratching thing is like it's not like they're going from Dan Quinn to like a new
A
defensive
rookie,
coordinator. Yeah, like they're going from an experienced coach to another experienced coach, and it makes you
even
wonder like
more experienced coach.
what is going on? Like
Right.
why are these mental lapses happening? Like it doesn't make sense. And same thing could be said for the Bears offensive line. Same thing. We have the same offensive line pretty much. Like three out of the five guys are coming back from last year. And then we have the same coach and the same issues happen week over week, which is so frustrating. But yeah, I totally get where you're coming from there. And it's
So
frustrating as a fan to watch.
I do deliveries downtown, and then I go to the card house most of the time for delivery. But
Hmm.
one of the like, there's guards there. They're cool with me. Of course, they know me by now. But one of them is a. I mean, all of them like their own teams or whatever, and a few like the Cowboys. But one like really loves the Cowboys because he and I we talk about it. He's like, so what do you think? This was today. I was like, bro, no discipline. Like if you're the Dallas Cowboy, the America's team, the Blue Star, if you're not going to have a raw quarterback, you need a raw head coach because you need discipline. You need to get them to be focused because all they're hearing is the noise. Like, man, you're America's team. You're the Cowboys. You're the greatest thing on earth. Well, you ain't shit. You haven't won a damn thing. You're nothing. Patrick Mahomes deserves his money because, well, guess what? He's won 2 Super Bowls. At least the 49ers have been to the Super Bowl in 5 years. I'm pretty sure some of those guys deserve their money. But I'm like, you guys over here flashing your suits and, thinking you're the greatest thing on earth when you haven't done a damn thing when it matters the most. Why do you deserve that? Like, why? Danny, the Bears and the Cowboys can sign us for $1 million each, and we would get the same production.
We'd be on our backs.
But at least, we'd be cheaper and we'd be the same result.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, though, we'd
Okay.
be disciplined.
Your dad wants to share the WNBA, I'm assuming.
Oh no, his girl's gone. So Caitlin
Caitlin Clark.
Clark,
So she got
unfortunately,
eliminated?
yeah, it's the best of three. And I told my dad,
Uh,
it's it's still a talent league, right? Like Fever, Caitlin Clark has something now. So now they can just draft and build around her. Now there's going to be superstars and, like players that are going to want to go play with her. Then they'll be able to build that, that badass team. But they're still young, whatever, that they were going to lose tonight. And unfortunately, they did.
hey, you know what is a crazy thing? Is we're talking about the WNBA in 2024. Who would have thought? Look at us now, right? It's that Paul Rudd meme. Look at us now.
Danny, oh my God, look at us now. If that's the case, damn Cowboys should be better. Like, what are we doing? Aren't we supposed to be revolutionizing, not staying the same? Oh my God. But it I'm happy for the WNBA.
Yeah, me
She's
too.
like she's gonna be the Eminem of the WNBA. People are hating on her because she's like white and she's able to do like badass, stunts and jukes and stuff like that and assist. But she's gonna bring them so much more money, viewership. Like she's gonna change the
I'm
game.
I'm telling you though, it's kind of crazy to me, and this is kind of what I'm thinking in my mind. I'm sorry, this is the Leatherheads podcast where we're talking about WNBA because it reminds me of like the '80s, right? When Larry Bird, Magic
Larry
Johnson
Bird,
all came,
yes,
they revolutionized the NBA at that time. Same things happening here. We're just a couple years behind that. So,
right.
Caitlin Clark is our Larry Bird, and
Pretty
they're
soon
gonna
we'll get
continue.
well, yeah. Pretty soon we'll get our Magic Johnson. Honestly, the Magic Johnson might be
Yeah,
Reese in Chicago, but she got
yeah.
injured and the girl from LA too, from Stanford, she got drafted by the Sparks. She's gonna be good too. The center, the tall
Hmm.
white girl, she's gonna be awesome too. But yeah, I think this is gonna be the best. This is awesome. See, this is making me calm down and like think fresh. But this is gonna be the best seasons for the WNBA going forward because the hype train is now real, right? It's like you have Sue Bird and people that I know because I follow everything, and people are like, "Who's that player?" Or like, "The WNBA, what?" Like, no, they got some good talent, but now they have hype with it. They have excitement with it. Like, it's awesome for the league, and I'm excited for them.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch. And then what you see now on TV is those arenas being packed more,
Right.
which is something
Imagine
you didn't
going to a
see before.
Chicago Sky game versus the Indiana Fever next year. That would be awesome.
That would be.
Wait, does Arizona have a team in the WNBA?
Yeah, yeah. They have the shoot. What are they called? Mercury, Phoenix Mercury.
Oh, the Phoenix Mercury. That's right. So
Yeah,
yeah, dude, man, we should try to go see a Caitlin Clark game when they play her. That would be dope.
yeah.
Next,
Well,
Puka's loose.
I don't.
Puka.
I know he's trying to grab my bear stuff. I don't know if Tariasi or Diana Tariasi is still with the team. They were talking about her retiring
Oh no,
potentially.
she's amazing. She's gonna be a Hall
Yeah,
of Fame.
for sure. All right,
But
let's get back to the NFL here.
woo,
So, I
forgettable,
don't want to spend.
forgettable football is too.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time here since we're already at the hour mark. But I have here Aaron Rodgers as my forgettable football, and the reason for that, not because I hate Aaron Rodgers or nothing like that. It's just he's doing the same shit that he would do in Green Bay, where he throws his little tantrums on the side. I don't know if you saw that interaction with him and Salah. Yeah, where he pushed him away. Like, you just scored a touchdown. Why are you, reacting that way? And a lot of people are kind of just assuming that it's because he said or he told Salah that the game's not over. It's not time to celebrate. Blah blah. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's true or
they're
not.
they're downplaying it,
Yeah, I mean, but to me that's just a bad look, and
right?
you don't want to do that. Like,
He even downplayed it because he was like, "Oh, we're fine." I told him, good job. It's like I didn't see no good job at all.
nah. If looks could kill, Salah would be dead right now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Aaron Rodgers is just so weird. She's America's most wanted. We're go back to bed.
No, good to hear from you, Dell. I appreciate the comments. Keep them coming.
I know. What's that, man? It's been a while since you saw him, huh?
Yeah, a long time.
Brady was more irritated with Dallas than Dak. Yeah, pretty much. He calls Dak Dax because it's like an old word of like dumb and failure or something like that. But but yeah, yeah. Dak is always like, yeah, we'll be fine. But yeah, Brady's a competitor, I'm sure. But yeah, go ahead, Danny. I mean, my dad keeps popping in. Go ahead.
No, no, that's okay. I don't mind hearing from your dad at all. Keep him coming. But no, I was just gonna say Aaron Rodgers is just the one that, I'm tired of his antics on the sideline. Like, be a professional, dude. And you have so many young guys looking like at you,
Right.
for leadership. And when you act that way, it's kind of like you don't respect nobody. You're all about yourself.
He never
You're not
did.
about the team. And that's why he has one Super Bowl. And
And that and
so,
that and that gets me too. They're always saying like Stephen A. Smith, oh, he's a bad man, and he's like the greatest that walks on earth. And I'm like, that dude has one more Super Bowl than pretty much any other person that's ever played in the league as a quarterback. That's
and
it.
he, and his window was like what, almost 20
Huge.
years?
Yes,
Yeah.
his antics is like, oh my gosh.
All right. I was gonna mention Antonio Pierce, but again, since we're
Oh no
back
no
to
no! I want to talk about that one because
okay,
remember we
all right,
talked
set it
about
up.
yes because we're okay. I want to hear your take about it because then
All right. So the reason why I brought him up is not because I'm not a fan of what he's doing or him as a coach. It's just I don't like the whole calling out the team, right? Letting them, and for those of you that didn't hear what he said, he just pretty much said that his team made business decisions not to show up and try hard, which it could be true, right? I mean that happens all the time in football. But for the problem that I have with it is already doing it in week 3. And we all know that the Raiders don't have the best team this year, so it's going to be a lot of up and down games. So what I was telling Jay off air is what happens when, let's say, he continues to lose week over week, and it gets to a point where he keeps, saying things about his team to the
bantering.
media. Yeah, it's gonna get to a point where they're gonna grow tired of him. They're gonna tune him out, and he's not gonna have the same level of, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the same level of effect, right?
Enthusiasm.
Motivation or whatever that may be. So that's my problem with it. I know you have a counter argument to that, so let's hear it.
Okay, so we live in a day and age of the wah wahs, social media, Gen Z, cancel crap, and all the crybabiness that they've created. Well, guess what, Danny? As sad as it is, we have Gen Z people playing in the NFL, and
Yep,
they
we're
believe that
there.
they're God's gift, and we could do whatever we want. We got social media, we're the glamour. We don't have to like. This is the fan. Like, what do I say about the Cowboys? They never consistently show up. And for someone on a coaching staff, the head coach should be the one to be like, F you, man up, and actually try, or else your ass is grass. And I love it because you look at a day and age when there were more men and less more crybabies, and that was Parcells throwing shade at Terry Glenn, sitting his ass to the locker room like you're gonna be a man or else. Terry Glenn ended up having a great career. Vernon Davis, a coach that the Bears won a Super Bowl with, Mike Singletary. Winners. I want them. I can't win without them. Or whatever he said. Oh, he said, I want winners. I don't want losers. I can't win with them. Right? That's what he
Hmm.
said.
Yep.
What happened to Vernon Davis after that? Became a possible Hall of Fame tight end because he was used to being babied by his high school coaches, his college coaches, because of all this talent, all this glamour. He was the guy. So now all these NFL players, like Tom Brady says, it's more about me and not the team. So all these like, oh man, we're doing great. We're part of the NFL. Woo! Same thing with Dallas's head. So many players, so many teams' head. Like, man, we made it. We're something. Last time I checked, Danny, out of the last four seasons, the five. Oh, actually five. Let me do five because it's Kansas City twice. So that's two teams. That's two Super Bowls. That's the same team. One we had Tom Brady, who was already the GOAT. So that's no one new, no one younger. Who else was a Super Bowl winning quarterback? Oh, yeah, Matthew Stafford, who was back then also. The only new quarterback besides Mahomes was who was the maybe was it Nick Foles? That was the one or who won?
Hmm.
It was
He
Nick.
won with the
Well,
Eagles.
no, but was it that? Was it the right after the Chiefs one?
They won 2017. So it was 2018 no, 2018. Who won it? I think.
Okay, so it's the Chiefs 3 times. Okay, that's
Hmm.
that's where that's where I'm missing. So
Yeah.
it's out of the younger group, 3 Super Bowls out of the last 6 is one player. The rest of the group, 20 years in the league, 24 years in the league, 18 years in the league, whatever Nick Foles was. You get what I'm saying? Like we have a lot of crybaby rah rah. I'm here. I'm the glamour bull crap. And then let's be gentle with them. We don't want them to be upset. Like no man, they're a man. Apparently they have one hanging down, so I'm pretty sure they're a man. Now go call them out when they need to be called out. So I love this because what Nick Foles, Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, and then Patrick Mahomes.
So here's my counter argument to that. And so you mentioned Mike Singletary, right, as a Niners head coach, and how he didn't connect with Vernon Davis, and he was that type of guy, just like Antonio Pierce is, rah rah in your face. I need this level from you, right, and I
Right,
need this level from everybody else. And if you didn't get it, he'd call you out.
right.
That's what Antonio Pierce is doing right now. And yes, it works, but there comes a point, and to Singletary's, going back to that time frame, it didn't reach Vernon Davis, right? It made him not be the player that he was. So then John Harbaugh came. John Harbaugh is a rah-rah guy, but not to the extreme that Singletary is. What Jim Harbaugh is, did I say John? I meant Jim. What Jim Harbaugh does is he knows how to connect with the people, right? He knows how to connect with his players. And so he builds relationships in different ways than probably Antonio Pierce does. So that's the difference, right? We're talking about rah-rah. Yes, that's needed, but when you're already doing rah-rah in week 3, the rah-rah in week 6, rah-rah in week 9, that's gonna grow old and tired. And that's what I have him as my forgettable football, because you don't want him to go through this. You want that rah-rah when you're like week 10, week 12, when you're going up against your division rivals and you need to win to in order for you to stay in the playoff race. Like that's when you want it. Not when you're 1 and 2. And so I guess that's why I have a big issue with it. And maybe you see it differently, but
Let
that's
me
where
let
I'm
me
coming
ask
from.
you with the whole connection and because some coaches benefit from this. We're gonna go back to San Francisco because that's the topic. Mike Singletary called out Vern Davis. The schematics of the team changed, especially with the new coach coming in. If he called one dude out, he's gonna call another one. I'm not gonna be that guy, so I'm gonna just do my job. As much as I love Harbaugh, Danny, was Harbaugh part of the group that drafted Patrick Willis?
I don't think so. Nope.
No. Was the same group that Harbaugh was in the one that drafted Vernon Davis?
Nope.
A lot of the players on that San Francisco 49 team was already built to win. They just needed a little bit of a change. But what made them grow and be better was the guy before, and that was the hardest guy. The talent was there. It's just that they needed a push. Same thing with John Fox. Look at Denver. Gary Kubiak was just a breath of fresh air, a little more loose in his play calling or whatever on offense. John Fox built that damn Denver team from the ground up. Von Miller. He brought in Peyton Manning. He brought in all these pieces. Antonio Cromartie. Gary Kubiak reaped the benefit. It happens more so than it does not. And there's always the good cop, bad cop, right? The good cop's there to reassure the suspect everything's going to be fine. The bad cop is there to tell him, guess what? Unless you own up to it, then the everything will be fine part won't even be there. So it's like, okay, damn, let me think about it both ways here. The schematics, like Terry Glenn with Bill Parcells. Terry Glenn threw his helmet. Parcells didn't go off like he did, like Mike Singletary did in the interview, the press conference, but he told him, do you want to be a man or do you want to be a boy? That's up to you. All right, let me figure this out. And what happened? Terry Glenn followed him to Dallas. The same guy who called him out, sent him to the locker room, called him a damn crybaby, he ends up following that guy because he trusted him most at the end. Chris Carter, man, I had a Hall of Fame career in Minnesota, man. Like I was the I was the head guy, and then Randy Moss comes in. I teach him how to do things and go about it the right way. He goes, but the one guy that changed me was the guy that released me because he said I'd rather have a bunch of men play for the team than a little boy that'll play for himself.
Yeah, I mean, you have a valid point when it comes to those types of coaches, but I mean, the thing that I'm trying to bring home here is just the fact that it doesn't reach everybody, right? And like it motivates some, like the Chris Carters, or like the Terry Glenns, it motivates them, but then it doesn't motivate the backups that come in that have to step up and play, or it doesn't motivate sometimes the quarterback who's kind of shaky already. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what you have in Oakland, or Oakland, in Las Vegas right now. You have a bunch of players trying to figure out where they stand on this team, especially in the future, right? Because we all know their team right now is not, on paper, they're not good. They need a lot of help. There with hopefully Antonio Pierce kind of leading them, they'll get there, they'll develop, they'll get whoever they need to. But right now there's just a lot of influx, right? A lot of question. And so for now, like it's just a slippery slope. Like you can't be too harsh right now, especially week 3. Like there's a time and a place for that. I just don't think week 3 was it. But you brought up some good, former players and coaches, right? Hall of Fame coaches that made a huge impact. But I don't know, man. To your point with the Gen Zs, like I don't know if that motivates them. That probably makes them kind of crumble. You know what I mean? Like maybe shy away from stepping up. I don't know.
But then that's where you go with where your team needs to go. Look at Andy Reid in Kansas City. Tyreek Hill is by far one of the most electric individuals in the NFL ever. And he was like, "Oh man, I'm the greatest." It's like, "No, we're the greatest." "No, I'm the greatest." "No, we're the greatest." "Okay, you could go be the greatest in Miami. Bye." Who's won Super Bowls, Danny? Since he
Yeah,
left. Not
he's still
Miami.
yeah, but he's still doing good. I mean, he's still the player that
Well,
he was
he's
in Kansas City.
he's
He's just
great, but when it comes down to the team schematics, Kansas City won out because they became another. They just became a complete team regardless. He left.
they're a well-oiled machine.
All
But
right.
look at Andy Reid. Do you see him rah rah even when they lose? Like when it's rare, right, that they lose, but he's never that type of guy.
Yeah,
I
but
just
you have a
they never show
Travis
it.
Kelsey and other people that will step up for that. That's what I'm saying. Like when you
Yeah,
don't have it, when you don't have it on a team, then your coaching staff needs to be. And when you don't have it on the coaching staff, then some of your players need to be like, "Hey, man, like Micah and Dak, and like, I mean, they need to start punching people in the jaw. Like they're the two leaders on offense and defense. They need to start like, hey, mofo, like you're gonna get your shit together, or else like we're just gonna go outside we're gonna go in the backyard every damn day." You need at least one area to be raw raw in order to get the message sent.
yeah,
And
you're,
it
you're
and
probably
it,
right there. I agree with you there because if you think about it, with the Raiders roster, there really isn't no like veteran leadership, right? Just
Gardner
Devontae
Minshew, the
Adams.
mustache, he's Minshew mania. He's carefree. He's like a hippie.
Eh,
And you got Devontae. See, look, you're shaking your head. See, so he's not rah rah. Then you get Devontae Adams, who's quietly a great receiver, but he's quiet. Like he doesn't
he's a
do
lead
rah
by
rah.
example.
Right. And then Max Crosby, when he steps up when he needs to be at times. But that whole team is not built off of like the old Raiders when they were winning Super Bowls. John Madden's like, you better bite people's fingers off. You better do something. You better be rah rah yourself. And like that's definitely not the Raiders of new. So like yeah, like him being the only one, like it's like, hey man, I'm the head coach. This is my ship. If we go down, I'm gonna go down steering the damn ship. And I
Yeah,
like that.
we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it works out. I'm rooting for Antonio Pierce. I don't want
Me-
him to
Same. I
be
like
one
him,
and
man.
done.
I don't like him when
Yeah,
he played for the Giants because he would be my Cowboys, but I loved him as a player individually. I loved him. I love him as a coach. Like I think he's just a good dude that deserves a good chance.
yeah, for sure.
Woo! All right, is this the schedule now? What are we doing? Here we go.
I don't know if your dad's still on, but he sent this message earlier.
Dallas Cowboys needs AI to help them win. Uh, no, they just need Jerry Jones to not be there, but that's not gonna happen. So that's the problem. All right, NFL Week 4 preview. Let's go.
Let's do it. All right,
Woo.
so let's start with tomorrow's great game. Are you gonna be watching it? Are you
Oh yeah,
Amazon Prime?
oh yeah. We got Prime here, but we're gonna be watching my aunt's because starting tomorrow. I'm gonna be watching her house, so go
Oh,
check on the
okay.
dogs, and we're gonna eat at her house.
She going out of town?
She's already out of town.
Uh,
Fred and Terry, our friends, were taking care of it before they left out of town. So I guess they left out of town maybe tonight or early in the morning. So then I start tomorrow. But
Gotcha.
but yeah, so yeah, we're gonna be watching. I'm gonna be probably screaming, but I'll be there.
So what are we thinking here? Is this
Honestly,
where they?
honestly, I don't want to. I honestly don't want to pick the Cowboys at all anymore, just because like they're just they just let me down. But like I said in history, Dak usually kicks ass against the NFC East. Why our only division or only the division all the time consistently? I don't know. And Daniel Jones for some reason really struggles against Dallas for some reason. So I'm gonna keep what history tells me and pick the damn Cowboys to not make me upset and to get back on track for at least this week to beating the Giants. That's what I'm saying. Like if they lose to the Giants, there's gonna be hell on earth in the
Oh
NFL
yeah.
world. Like it is gonna be atrocious. And then after that, people will be after McCarthy. It's from Jerry to McCarthy after that. But I'm picking the Cowboys just because of the history. Like Daniel doesn't really do well, and it's prime time, so he usually doesn't do well in prime time games either. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna pick the Cowboys.
I'm with you there. I don't see a world where the Giants beat the Cowboys tomorrow. I know, and I know they've been playing
Imagine
better
with
as of late.
WNBA 2024. I mean, we might be living in a different world.
That's true. That's
Oh my
true. But no,
god!
I think that this is a get right game for the Cowboys, and hopefully their defense is goes back to the way that we know them. To be aggressive and getting those takeaways and all of that.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm not Giants running game doesn't scare me. Like they've had some success, but I think the Cowboys will be able to shut it down. And then Daniel Jones is going to do Daniel Jones things, so I expect the Cowboys to win here.
The like as a true fan of the game right now with no discipline stuff, like even if we turn around a little and limp into the playoffs with no discipline, we're not gonna do much. I honestly, as a true football fan of this team, and most people should jump on my damn bandwagon. I wouldn't mind at this point if we stumble, have a losing season, wholesale on the damn coaching staff, because I know the GM's not going to leave. Wholesale on the coaching staff, get a raw coach, Rex Ryan type of individual that'll punch everyone in the jaw to get their shit straight, and then you go and draft and in free agency get the best defensive damn tackle in the damn draft and in free agency, and then we'll be on to where we need to be, and of course, a running back somewhere in the mix. But at this point, with no discipline, I rather just tank, to be honest. As much as it hurts me, because I see the talent, but at no discipline, and if you don't have discipline in the playoffs, you ain't gonna do shit.
Yeah,
So I'd rather have a better draft pick than, well, we'll see. But yeah, I think they'll get back on track and they'll beat the
you're you're
Giants
you're looking past this season,
at this
right?
point. At this point, because there's no discipline. Like it starts with the coaching staff and the GM, but we know the GM ain't leaving, so the coaching staff has to change. Like Harbaugh, Rex Ryan, and so many coaches wanted to be our coach this year, and of course Michael McCarthy's like, "Oh, Jerry, please." And then of course Jerry's like, "You know what? You kissed me once too many here, but okay, we'll do this." And then that's that. But yeah, so Cowboys. Next one. Saints at Falcons. All right, Danny, ready for this one? The
No,
Saints will lose 2 in a row.
wow.
Your face. I love your face. I knew you weren't ready. because look at Atlanta. We already talked about it. They kicked the field goals like they should have against Kansas City, the Super Bowl champion. They would be 2-1 at least.
Yeah.
At least. And if the fanfare actually showed up in week 1 and not let Pittsburgh get the damn season tickets, they'd probably beat Pittsburgh too because of the crowd. But c'est la vie. I think the
I
Saints are coming back home a little bit. They're
mhm.
gonna they're gonna they're gonna be shook because of what happened last week. They should have won last week. I think going into it, they both teams should have won last week. So that gives the benefit to the home team because they're all a bit shaky right now. So I think Atlanta pulls the upset because I'm sure the Saints are favored. I think the Falcons pull the upset.
I for me.
You what?
And
You cut
I
off.
said I said I think this one's a tough game for me.
Oh, it is. It is.
Because they're both playing really good football. I know
Right.
the Saints lost, the Falcons both lost as well, but both of them on offense are. I mean, they're showing that what they can do, and they're doing it against pretty good teams. Like the Falcons doing what they did to the Chiefs was impressive. Right, granted they were at home, but they still were able to drive down the ball, and they almost won it.
And they kept the offense in check.
Yep. Exactly. Like this is what I expected the Falcons to look like last year, right? But with Arthur Smith, they didn't know how to use Bijan Robinson, and they didn't know how to use Kyle Pitts. But now
Right.
you can see that Raheem Morris knows exactly like who his playmakers are going to be. Even Darnell Mooney's, getting in on the action there, which is pretty cool to see. And then the Saints, man, Derek Carr is just impressing me. And I don't think I would have ever thought I would say that, but he's just consistently throwing the ball down the field, and he's doing it with accuracy.
He's an MVP candidate for real. And what's crazy, we were talking about the what if scenarios, right?
Yep.
Whoever wins this game, if they didn't do the what if to themselves last week, they would be 3-1.
Yeah.
But yeah, so who do you pick? You pick the Saints, right?
Uh, I still think the Falcons are the favorite in that division, so I'm gonna go with the Falcons here, just
Okay,
like you.
okay.
Um,
It's hard, right? Like this one's gonna be one
yeah,
of the harder ones.
yeah, no, because I could see the Saints winning, and the NFC South is so hard to predict because they always beat each other. Like you just never
Right.
know. It's kind of like the NFC East, right?
Yeah, they beat each other down.
Yep.
So
It's not
yeah,
like the
so we
NFC
both
North where the Packers are gonna beat the Bears.
dude, I hope not. But so 2 Cowboys, 2 Falcons, right? So we're not split yet.
No. Yeah,
All
we're
right.
on.
So the Cincinnati Bengals versus the ex-Red Rifle of the Bengals, Andy
Ooh, his
Dalton,
whole team.
I hope he starts at this game just because of who he's playing.
He is. He's gonna start.
So
Um.
you go first this time.
Oh man, this is tough. I the Bengals the Bengals haven't been that far off from winning a game. Right?
Right,
I think there was just week 1 that was pretty much a blowout, and that was against the Patriots. I don't even know it was a blowout, but it was just not their game to win.
right,
And the Bengals, I mean, they even though the I want to say the Redskins, the Commanders, kept getting ahead and getting ahead, like they made it, they battled through that game.
right.
Um, and they got T Higgins back. Jamar Chase is Jamar Chase, and then they have another receiver. I can never say his name, Andre Ishavas or something like that. But
Hey, you
he's
did
been
pretty
coming on.
good. I think it's like Ishavas or Who's Your Mama, or is it like a Bengal thing to get someone like that? Like I don't understand.
I think so.
Like, all right, Cincinnati, you're up to draft. All right, let's look at the list. Best receiver. Yeah, that's the guy right there. Yep.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Fits the mold.
We didn't even look him up, but yeah, that's the one.
Oh, he's from Yale. All right, good on him. But yeah, no, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I think that they win one here, even though the Panthers looked good last week. The Bengals, I think, their offense is on track and they're just gonna get better. It's just their defense that's been the big question mark. So if they can hold Andy Dalton to score at least 14 points, I think they have a chance. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals here.
I am agreeing with you. I think the Bengals get their first win. Dalton kind of comes back to earth. First start. Like people don't know what's gonna happen. He's lit up, but now you're at home and you're playing a Bengals team who's pissed off and just desperate, right? So yeah, I think the Panthers show, and then Adam Thielen out now, so I think the Panthers
Yeah.
show up and be the Panthers like we think that they're not good, and then yeah, they come back to reality, and then the Bengals beat them. So we're 3 for 3 so far, sir.
Cowboys. I was gonna read out Gabe's. Gabe says he has the Cowboys, the Falcons, the Bengals, and the Bears.
So far, all right. So Danny, Rams or Bears, Danny?
You pick first.
Woo! So I think these teams right now, because of the Rams injury and stuff, are more the same than they weren't beforehand. So experience versus youth. But now with all these injuries, it's one vet basically versus one rookie, right? Because like everyone else is like rookies themselves. It's all youthful people down there. It's tough. I think, like you said, the Bears offensive play calling, they're so head scratching and they're so frustrating. And I think that the Rams, just with McVay's experience and Stafford's experience, I think they get the win here. The Rams over the Bears. It's tough. Like I kind of want to say the Bears, but I just rather trust the experience than the youth. So I picked the Bears the Rams over the Bears.
All right. I hope this pick is wrong on your end because I have to go the opposite. I was gonna go the opposite either way. If you would have picked the Bears, I would have gone LA
Really?
because I need to make some ground. Yeah, 'cause I need to make some ground. And
Woo.
as far as the Bears, like I'm done predicting them. Like I
Dude,
thought they were
it's
gonna
so
win for
tough.
sure last week, and they should have because they were going up against the worst rush defense at that time, and they couldn't even muster 2 yards per rush. So I'm tired of predicting. I'm tired of predicting Caleb's gonna be having a good game. At this point, I don't trust the coaching. Um, so yeah, no, I'm gonna go with the Bears, just simply because I need to make some ground, not because
All the
I
negative talk, and then well, we're picking the Bears. Woo!
I'm just letting everybody know. I'm
Right.
picking the Bears not because I believe, but because I need to gain some ground on you.
Gain some ground on the picks. All right, all right. Sounds good. All right, you're next, and this one's a tough one too. And this is a division rivalry game for you.
I mean, I told you earlier. Bless you.
Thank you.
I told you earlier. I've been super impressed with the Vikings and just the way that they've been beating good quality teams. The
Right,
Packers have been beating teams. I don't know if they've been good quality teams, but I mean they're still getting the job done without Jordan Love, right?
right.
So their one loss came to the Eagles, and then they beat the Colts and they beat the Titans. I think that I don't think they've met a defense or they've gone up against a defense as good as the Vikings yet. So simply because there's question marks with Jordan Love not even playing, and then the Vikings defense, I'm gonna go with the Vikings here.
Oof. All right, Aaron Jones, Mr. 915, is gonna get his sweet revenge in Lambeau Field. I
I
pray.
like it.
I honestly think this is the, like I told you last week against Houston, this is the formula to beat Green Bay. Run around, go crazy, have AJ do his thing, run, wear down that defense and that team. And then Malik doesn't get into a groove like he's been doing because they've been having the ball on easy fields and, other teams doing turnovers and stuff. So don't let Green Bay get into a groove and they run the ball and they just, rock out with their cock out. And I think Minnesota gets the win.
All right, we're on board there. I think the only different one is Chicago, LA so
Yeah,
far.
right.
All right, Jaguars, Texans. You want to start us off?
I mean, should we? Okay, let's both say it and just save the
On
agony.
three, ready?
Three,
One,
two,
two,
one.
Texans.
Texans. The Jaguars, I don't know why, but they're such a mess. And if they pull the upset, this is obviously the upset of the year so far because they've been such a mess. And it's so mind-boggling. Like you got Trevor Lawrence, you paid him. You got Doug Peterson, a Super Bowl, caliber coach that won a Super Bowl, and it's just something's not there. Like just they're just not. And then they just got destroyed by possibly one of the best team, if not the best team that we were wrong about. That we thought was going to take steps back, but Buffalo looks like a monstrous of a team. But
Yeah.
yeah, Texans for sure.
Yep. I'm in agreement there. Nothing more to say there. All right. Steelers, Colts at Colts.
You
Uh,
you go.
I'll yeah, I'll go. Man, I, I'm I'm in ditch rich season already. Like watching him play against the Bears, some of the passes that he threw, like those should have been
Telling
first
you,
downs,
I'm telling you,
and
man.
he just sailed the ball over everybody. So I'm gonna go with the Steelers. They have a great defense. Justin Fields kind of knows what he's doing back there. And then all they got to do is just really stop the run. If they stop the run, which I think they can do, they'll control that game. So I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh here.
Whew. Something's
Colts.
telling, yeah, something's telling me to go with Indianapolis. I don't know why. Um, you know what? Let's just have a heyday. I don't think Ditch Rich is too much Ditch Rich this game, but I think that now the expectations is going like this, right? It's just like falling and then Pittsburgh's rising. This is just like Tampa Bay last week against Denver. This is like the perfect trap game. You run the damn ball the whole damn game with Taylor, wear the defense out, make make Fields go back to like Bears Fields and just kind of make a dumb play or whatever and change the game. I think this could be a trap game. So I take the Indianapolis Colts over the Pittsburgh Steelers.
There's no way that he'll relapse to Bears fields. He's only going to go from Steelers fields, Ohio State fields, and that's it. No
But
Bears.
yeah, I think it's a possible trap game. So I'm picking the Colts over Steelers. I
All
gotta
right.
make this
Cool.
fun and make sure that you fall more behind.
We'll see about that. All right. Broncos, Jets. I'll let you go first since your boy Bo Nix is there.
Dude, this one's so tough for me because I love my boy. But you know what's crazy is the Jets, their run defense is not good either. So
Yeah,
and,
they've been
and that's
struggling.
that's what Bo did good against Tampa is he actually started running. Like it looked like Sean Payton gave him more of a freeway up to doing what he wanted to do. So but like I did with the Rams and the Bears, I just think the experience over the youth is what takes this. Rodgers, like you said, he does stupid stuff. He even though he looks old and clunky at times, I just think that this Jets team with the experience of the quarterback will be a little much than the Broncos rookie quarterback. So unfortunately, Bo, I love you, but we're gonna go Jets over Broncos.
Yeah. I won't say too much more than that. I agree with you. I think the Jets will win this one. Gabe, just to give you a recap, Gabe is predicting Steelers, Jets, Eagles, and Cardinals. So let's talk about the
Oh,
Eagles and Bills.
Cardinals! Oh, damn, he threw a interesting one. Then, hey, that'd be crazy. All right, so we're doing Eagles Bucks. Your turn.
Um, I this is tough because the Bucks have been looking pretty good other than last week. Last week they just couldn't figure out to do their offense at all. But um, I expected the Bucks to kind of regress this year, and they looked like the same team from last year. And then I guess this game here is a little bit difficult for me because I'm still not a believer in the Eagles. Like on paper, I thought the Eagles were going to be much more improved, but it's the same. It's the same offense. Like you have Hurts running all around the line of scrimmage, trying to find an open receiver. I know AJ Brown. I don't even know he's going to play this game. So and then Devontae Smith got hurt too. So like right now, there's just a lot of injuries on the offense, and if you're going to be relying on Hurts to kind of find an open receiver, it might be a long day for him. And then the Bucks, I mean, they're no slouch on defense either, and then they're at home. So I kind of want to go with the Bucks here. I think I'll go
Okay.
with the Bucks just simply because of the injury issues.
All right. So not because I'm an Eagles hater, I'm going to break it down of why I think the Bucks are going to win.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm gonna change my pick to Eagles.
don't do that. Uh, but remember who beat down the Eagles last year in the playoffs? Tampa Bay. You know who's going to
Yep,
beat down the Eagles this week? Tampa Bay. One, Sirianni is going to do stupid stuff like always. Like, let's keep going for it on fourth down. He's going to do his whole.
that's a good facial expression. That looks just like him. It's uncanny.
And, and then, so he's going to do that. And then Hurts is going to be like, and then they're going to just do stupid stuff. And unlike the Saints blowing it last week, Tampa Bay's not. Like, Bucker, like, if you give Baker 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards because you make stupid turnovers on downs or Hurts fumbling or whatever. He has a Hall of Fame wide receiver, by the way, that he could just throw it up there because he just jumps in the air and he's got a larger freaking body than everybody else. He just catches it. His
He
name is
doesn't
Mike
age.
Evans. Yeah. So I think Tampa Bay is going to come back and regroup because that upset, like I said, trap game last week, this game, they're going to be like, what the hell happened? And the Eagles last week were so like, they showed up on defense right against the Saints. That Saints that scored 91 points the first 2 weeks. They're muscle ball, but Tampa Bay is physical also. So I mean, you're doing back to back games with two physical teams, and sometimes it's wear and tear. So I think Tampa Bay gets the win again.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think the Bucks defense will slow down the Eagles offense, and then it'll be a low scoring game. I'm kind of predicting, but yeah, I think the Bucks being at home, it's gonna be hot. It's in Florida,
Right,
so yeah, it's gonna be a
man.
long day
This
for the
one's going to
Eagles.
be tough and a good game. I think
Yeah,
this might
this is
be
gonna be.
Dude, I might do DraftKings on this game because if you were looking for offensive points, like this, this might be your game.
Yeah, this is a. It has a really good excitement factor to it, right? Well, you
He
have
picks
Jaden
the
Daniels is
Cardinals,
coming
right?
off. Yeah, he picked the Cardinals. So Jaden Daniels is coming off his best game as a rookie, right? Eckler's out because of his concussion, but they saw Brian Robinson. Robinson runs the ball really well as well.
Right.
Um, I don't know. I told you, I've just been super impressed with the Commanders. The Cardinals are good too, though. But I am going to go with. I have to agree with Gabe here. I think the Cardinals win just because they're at home, and then they have Marvin Harrison. They're running the ball still really good as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals here.
Oh man, this pick is so tough. I think you know what? I trust the least scrambler over the more scrambler. I'm gonna go Commanders.
Commanders. All right.
So I think they go 3-1. That's crazy. But the way that they looked against Cincinnati, another team that played, Cincinnati plays physical, and they didn't beat them in Washington. They beat them down in Cincinnati. So I'm like, they can be away dogs and go to a dome stadium and do the same thing. So I think that Jaden
Damn.
continues his success, and then he said, "Damn."
Yeah.
Well,
No. The I just say damn because they're a sneaky 2-1 team.
right, right.
Sorry, Puka stole my.
Fuka's running around.
She's stealing my memorabilia over here.
Puka. But yeah, I go Washington to be 3-1. That's crazy. At the top of the
Yeah. I mean,
NFC
I
East.
I
Freaking
know if
A.
they get to 3-1, imagine. Damn, that's a big
I
surprise of
told
the.
you, I told you before the season we're doing predictions. The Commanders would be a massive contention until when it comes to push and shove and the physical playoff type scenarios, because then the youth will show up. So I'm pretty much right now. Like they're kicking ass because they have energy and they're just kicking. So, and we talked about the NFC East hasn't had a repeat winner since 03 and 04. Like that's crazy to think that.
Yeah. That is crazy. That just shows a parity in the division.
Right.
All right. You want to take a stab at this one? Or you want me to go?
Did Gabe choose this one?
Gabe, I don't think so. Oh yeah, he did. 49ers.
All right. So,
What?
Gabe, guess what? History, I said, repeats itself earlier, and I think as the trend is, it's gonna continue. The New England Patriots will go in and muscle ball and beat the San Francisco 49ers. And when I was talking about history, through the first 3 weeks of the season, the biggest underdog point spread differential of each week ended up winning the game. This week, the lowest differential point person is the Patriots against the Niners. So I think New England keeps that trend running. The injuries and the Brock Purdy getting hurt and all that stuff. I'm telling you, like this damn Niners team, just like the Cowboys made because of the damn window, it's kind of like wearing thin. Like the window's kind of fragile right now. And I think New England has the moxie, the physicality to go get this upset win and make it a dogfight. Like it's gonna be like the score is gonna be like 9-7. Like it's not gonna be daunting of stats or whatever, but they're gonna go and just punch and punch and punch each other, and then eventually Patriots are gonna do the last hit to hit the knockout, and they get the upset win over the 49ers.
Hmm. You're on your own there, buddy. I don't know. I left. I didn't leave impressed with the Patriots last week when they played the Jets, and then the 49ers. I just can't see them losing three in a row. I know they're dealing with a crap load of injuries, but I mean they have to right. They should have won last week. As a matter of fact, like Jawan Jennings had a game, and then I
Dude,
think Kittle's coming back this week, so I expect them to win this. And I don't know if you saw before we jumped on, but Purdy was on the injury report.
right, his back.
His back, yeah. So I don't know
It
if
don't
that
look
affects him or
pretty.
not. I knew that was coming.
It don't look
Dun-dun-dun.
pretty. But you know what, Danny? We're talking about the window, right? And we're talking about like you can't pay everyone. We're talking about the before the season starts because eventually you're gonna have to pay Purdy. And obviously, if I'm Purdy and if I'm already hurting in my back and it's only week 4, next off season, I'm holding out until I get paid. Because if I'm the guy who is your trusted QB of the future, then I want to be shown because everybody else might be a lot of people might be leaving. We're talking about Juwan Jennings had a game, right? You already paid Brandon Ayuk. You drafted a young wide receiver, and then there's Debo Samuel, Kittle. Like you're gonna have to start paying pieces. Does Juwan Jennings go and find a new home next year?
He will. Yeah, he will.
So I mean, yeah, things are wearing thin. So yeah, so you and Gabe 49ers and I'm the Patriots. All right, what
That sounds
about
like a pretty big problem, huh?
pretty big problem? Yeah, for sure. Especially if they lose 3 straight.
Yeah. No kidding. All right, let's do this. Chiefs Chargers. You want to go with your Herbert?
Is Herbert playing though?
Probably not.
That's key. Dude, that
Yeah.
sucks because I want to go. Okay. And I'm gonna I'm gonna pretend he is playing. And if he's playing, the Los Angeles Chargers will upset the Kansas City Chiefs because Kansas City should technically be 1-2 right now. They've gotten lucky. And eventually, when you play a physical team, another physical team, and don't get that luck, it's going to wear thin. Just like 2 years ago when Minnesota was doing those like 1-point victories, and man, this is great. But once that wore thin and you didn't get that luck, what happened? They got bounced out by Daniel Jones and the Giants. Daniel Jones, ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Jones, just letting you know. So if these mistakes keep like Mahomes, like he even said, I'm not playing that well, and like they can't keep getting lucky, right? So let's say something bounces the Chargers way, something luckily happens for the Chargers, then they can sneak away with this win because it's a division game. It's going to be physical. Pacheco isn't there. Even still, I mean, still hold his own, like you said, but like Pacheco's another animal compared to a
Yeah.
lot of people. So I think the Los Angeles Chargers, especially if Justin Herbert is playing, they get the upset win and they get to be first right now in the division.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. But Herbert would need to play for that to happen, and a lot would need to go right. I don't know. The Chiefs look good to me. Yes, they've gotten kind of
Kind of.
saved by the referees. Week 1, I mean, it was a toenail away
Dude,
from a
yeah.
lot,
So they
or
could
at least a tie.
possibly, yeah, a tie or going to overtime. They could be 0-3.
I don't know. That one they won outright. The second week was against the Bengals, right? Bengals, and they got bailed out. Last week, another penalty kind of supported them there, and then this week, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I still think they're still too good. I mean, they're really weird right now because one, the running game's a little kind of out of whack now that
Right.
Pacheco's gone. Kelsey's not having such a big impact, which is really surprising to me. Like
And
he
that's not
seems
a
like a
good
different
thing
Kelsey.
when you go into those like physical playoff scenarios later down the road. If he's playing the same as he is now, they're not going to go anywhere because you
Yeah,
need him.
he's a
He's
guy who gets open
he's a
behind
trustworthy
the
individual.
defense. Yeah, but you know what's bailing him out right now is Rasheed Rice. That dude's been stepping up. He's been he's been their probably
Their best
Mahomes'
player in
favorite
offense.
target.
Yeah.
Not only that, but then Worthy, you have a sprinkle of Worthy in there at times, or with his big play ability. I think they'll be fine until they figure it out. I'm going KC.
All right. Did Gabe do a few more picks or what?
Yeah, I'll tell you after the Bills and Ravens.
You mean the Raiders and Browns?
No, after we finish the Bills and Ravens one, I'll let you
Oh,
know
okay,
what he
okay.
picked. Yeah.
Oh, all right, Danny. You go first this time.
I'm gonna go with the Raiders here.
Antonio Pierce sends the message.
I hope so. I hope I hope it worked. But no, I think the Raiders will. I mean, them being at home, the way they lost, I think the biggest question mark for the Raiders right now is like, who's going to be the quarterback? Because McConnell came in there, or Aiden O'Connell, right? I think that's his name. He came in there, and I don't know why. I mean, was it because Minshew didn't play well, or what? And so if you start to play that quarterback carousel this early, that's also a big red flag. But them being at home, I think we'll be okay. I don't trust Watson, so simply because they're at home, they have Max Crosby and
And
they have
Wilkins.
Devontae Adams and Wilkins. I haven't heard much about him
What's
this year
what's
though.
crazy is that Miles Garrett's there and that defense. Like I feel bad for them, because I'm like, what more do you want from them? What more do you want
He
them to
got
do?
hurt. Miles Garrett got hurt last week.
Is he gonna play this week?
I don't know if he's still gonna play. I think he might be sitting one game out at least.
Oh, dude. Then I mean, I definitely don't trust the Cleveland, especially dude. Watson is just so he's
Off.
not gonna recover.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
he's done.
I think this poor guy is just going to be washed forever, which is sad. But yeah, I'm with the Raiders with you on this one. Raiders over Cleveland and c'est la vie. Ooh, the
Yeah,
next one.
he didn't practice today. Miles Garrett didn't practice, so he's dealing with 3 injuries: Achilles, foot, and thigh. That's not a good combo.
Good God,
Yeah, when it
he's
rains,
got
it pours.
he's got miles to return. Woo! All right, so
All right,
man, this game is going to be a hell of a game. But
Sunday
like I
night.
said, Like I said, no team right now, for some odd reason, has looked better than Buffalo. And two, the Baltimore Ravens, like I said, give up leads. So if it's a dogfight in the fourth quarter, if they're not ahead like they were against Dallas, a bunch of points, and then Bills have to do the whole passing thing and all that crap, Buffalo's gonna win because fourth quarter, for some reason, Baltimore collapses. They're gonna be 2-2. Can you imagine? Like we're picking them to probably win the division. I said it was going to be between them and the Steelers, and so far, yeah, we've Pittsburgh shown everybody that they were correct. But
Yeah,
it's pretty wild. But I'm picking Buffalo here. I think that it's too much Buffalo for Ravens to recover, and then like they're trying to recover themselves. Like they barely beat Dallas towards the end. That's still gonna linger on them. Like, damn, we were up 28-3. Like, what the fuck? And then now it's 28-5. You know what I mean? Like that wears on you too. So yeah, I'm going Buffalo.
That's crazy that the Raiders beat them, right?
Wild.
Yeah, it's just the craziness of the NFL. But yeah, I expect that. I expected a huge drop off, and they just shown on offense that they're still a juggernaut, even with tier B receivers or whatever you want to call them. Um, Josh Allen's just doing what he's been doing these last couple of
He's
years.
balling out.
Yeah, he is, and it's pretty impressive to see that.
Madden curse, bro. I mean, look at that. Last year,
You,
they're like, oh, he's still under Mahomes, and he's still under a few people, and then now everyone's like, oh, damn, like maybe Allen's the quarterback that is. And then what happened to McCaffrey? Like that dude's in
yeah,
Germany trying to get another. Damn,
that's
that's
not
so
a good
crazy.
sign.
Hell no, he's
That's not a good
in
sign.
a different country to figure out what's wrong. Hell no, that's not good. But
You inject some stem cells on my
yeah, I know, right?
Achilles, on my
Can you
knee, on.
can you give me a third leg, sir? But yeah, uh, Buffalo. Like you said, it's crazy that the Ravens lost to the Raiders, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Ravens here.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought you
I'm gonna
said
go with the
Buffalo at
Ravens.
first.
I mean I like Buffalo. I like
Oh,
Buffalo as a team, but
no, so they get their
I
first loss.
yeah, I think it happens this week with Baltimore. I think Baltimore
Ooh.
is trying to figure out who they are.
Right.
Um, and I think that loss to the Raiders really helped them because it brought things into perspective for them, and now it seems like they're kind of figuring out what type of offense they're going to be, and that's by giving Derrick
Henry
Henry
the
the ball.
ball. Instead of just like, well, we
Yeah,
didn't bring him here to run. Like, dude, what the hell are you doing? You would take
yeah. I mean,
you take a lot of load off of Lamar
that's what you need to do because you can't have Lamar try to run everything.
and
He
pass
won't
everything.
he won't be productive at all. It's kind of
Right.
like Kyler Murray just running in circles and then hoping for the best play, which against the
Sheesh.
Bills, like you just don't, you can't do that.
Right.
All right, let me
All
tell
right.
you the picks that Gabe had. He had the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Bills, and then on Monday he has the Titans and the Seahawks.
Damn, he has
My
the
new team.
Seahawks. Damn, he went there 1 week and now he's like, I'm Seahawks. Look at him. Look at him. Yeah, he's over here judging you about the Cardinals and Diamondbacks. You better get him, Danny. All right, so Dan, you go first for this one.
All right, I'm gonna go with. I don't even know who the quarterback is for the Dolphins. Do you? Is Skylar Thompson
Uh
playing?
no, what's his name?
Has he been a quarterback in the NFL before?
No, you know who's quarterbacking for him? Snowflake.
All right, in that case, I'm gonna go with Titans.
Ace Ventura's there too. You should see him. Well,
Yeah.
Skylar Thompson's day to day, so it might be Tyler Huntley.
Oh, that's right, Tyler Huntley.
Yeah.
He's pretty capable.
Yeah, but yeah, he really is though. Like if he goes in, I give the Dolphins the chance to win. But if it's Skyler, I think Tennessee. Yeah, I think you said Tennessee, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
I'm gonna go with
Tennessee
Tennessee.
Tennessee finally gets their first win. And to think that Tennessee and Miami, who we thought would be fighting for their division, at least being more competitive, will be both 1-3. Like, how crazy is that? But Tua, man, it's Tua's fault. Like, this dude just doesn't know how to go down and not take the hit.
I know he plays reckless.
Right. Whew. All right. So the
So
last one.
Tennessee, you got Tennessee, right?
Yeah, both Tennessee.
All right. Last one. That's pretty cool that there's two Monday Night Football games back to back weeks.
So I think as much as the Seahawks look amazing, they're going all the way from the West Coast to all the way to the East Coast. The travel. There's only a few teams that actually do good in that travel, I think. And Detroit's a hard place to play. They're going to be physical, so I think Detroit comes out with the win, and Seattle loses their first game.
Remember, the Seahawks beat them last year.
Wow.
Did you know that?
I didn't remember. I just remember the Cowboys beating the Seahawks. What's that? That was our Thursday night game last year. This year's the Giants. I remember
All
that day
right.
too because me, Erica, and I took her and the two little ones to Applebee's on Trans Mountain, and then like that's when like Metcalf was just like doing Metcalf things, and I was like, what? Like I was all pissed, and then we came back to win. I was like, thank God. And then my mom and Dina were like, where are you? And then I was like, I'm at Applebee's. So then they came and said hi to us, and but yeah, man, it was a oh man, I was like, oh no, we're gonna lose. Charlie bit me, and
That
then
was
we
a
ended up.
that was a cool game.
That was
That
a
was a back and forth
crazy
one.
game. Yeah, that was a crazy game. But so yeah, I picked the Lions. Who you got, Danny?
I picked the Lions as well. Um, Simply because I know the Seahawks are 3-0, but they played the Broncos week 1. They played the Patriots week 2, and then last week they got a limping or injured Dolphins team, and so again they haven't been tested all that well this year.
Right.
So this is their true test, and I think the Lions, them losing, not last week but the week before. I mean, they're just a solid team. Like if Jared Goff doesn't make any mistakes, like they're most likely gonna win.
That's like
Right?
it sounds like everyone's formula if our quarterback just doesn't screw up.
But I mean, their defense is good. Their running
Yeah,
backs are
the
good. Like
coaching
they're
is
just
good. They're
yeah,
disciplined. Like that's the key. They're disciplined.
yeah, exactly. And
He
yeah, I
said
think the
bad
Lions
pick.
just
He said bad
bad
man.
pick.
Damn, he went. Damn, I think that altitude just messed with his brain up there or something.
Yeah, if they beat the Lions, I'll be a believer of the Seahawks. I
Dude,
still don't think the Seahawks
but
will
that
win the division.
I'm a believer in them already because I think at this point they'll probably win the division because the Rams are injured, the 49ers are injured, Kyler Murray's Kyler Murray. So scramble damble. So actually scramble gamble. There you go. He's a scramble gamble. But Lions, huh? And then Gabe's the lone Seahawk.
Yep,
You got to make head ground, Danny. Let's see what happens.
I will. I'll make at least a 2 game. I made some a little minor
Minor
ground on you last
adjustments.
week,
Minor
but
adjustments.
this one at least I have 3 different ones, so I should be good. I'll win all those 3.
We'll find out, sir. Man, this is fun. The picking one is kind of fun just because it's like it's so frustrating because you never know. You never know.
It makes
The
our
the best
podcast
team
pretty long though.
can lose to the best team can lose to the worst team. I mean, it's the NFL, so
It makes our podcast go from an hour and a half to 2 hours and 8 minutes,
right.
which is crazy.
Woo! Gabe, thank you for chiming in. Pop, we appreciate you. You're finally chiming in. We're talking about a different sport, but we like the commentating. We like the
It's
feedback.
okay. Bring any sport. We're sports fans here, so whatever you want to talk about, just
I know, Dave. We
let us
missing
hear it.
David, man. We need more people. What happened to that? What was that guy? Peter Willis or what? He had like two. Oh, Peter West, right, or something. He had like two superhero
Yeah, something
names.
like that.
Yeah, he disappeared after he saw the Giants' first 2 games. But hey, man, you guys won last week. Let's go.
All right. Well, as you can
Danny's
see, I'm
Danny's
tired.
pretending. Danny's pretending he's on the East Coast right now, but he's definitely not, ladies and gentlemen. I promise.
Nope, I'm not. It's just these damn allergies in Arizona are getting to me. I didn't take medication though this time. I learned from the last time, so I'm of
I picked the
sound mind.
Jets. And 5 picks later, the Dolphins are gonna run away from this. I swear. I'm like, what? Which one? Hey, but man, you had those teams, right? And then like it was Buffalo that.
Yep.
Sheesh. Man, how crazy. But
Damn.
anyway, pretty wild.
But let's see. Let's hopefully this week goes better for both of our teams. We see
Yes, please. We'll
some
see what Dallas.
progress.
Yeah, Dallas might piss me off the whole weekend by tomorrow, so we'll find out.
That's true. Just
Oh my god,
get it out of the
I
way,
know.
right?
Oh my gosh, I know. Everything like last few weeks, man. I was with Frank last weekend or 2 weekends ago, and then this like everything was perfect until the Cowboys played. Like I should have just not even watched that. Like Jesus Christ. But man, good stuff, Danny. As always, like, share, follow, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today, Gabe and Dale, my father. Well, until next time, this is the Sun City Leatherheads podcast. Danny, like always, appreciate you. It's been awesome.
We'll talk next week, man.
Yeah,
Always
till
good
next
talking
time.
football.
Absolutely.
See ya.
Later.